It's Thursday, August 20th.
I don't think I'd go back to Kentucky bourbon. I'm quite happy with Crown Royal so long as they bottle it in Canada.
We'll stick with Canadian products, thanks. We've changed our shopping habits and we're going to keep that up.
American booze could soon return to Canadian store shelves as part of ongoing trade negotiations. Many consumers say they still won't buy it.
You need to make every effort to come to a trade agreement with your largest trading partner.
Premier Scott Moe sharing his thoughts on the Canada-U.S. trade negotiations.
There's a short-term need, and Australia fills that.
Australian beef showing up as the cheaper option for some cuts on Canadian grocery store shelves. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. Good morning and happy Thursday.
I've not yet had the Australian cuts. Have you found them in the grocery store?
I have.
How do you identify them?
Well, it says product of Australia on the package. I bought it because I saw the cost was much cheaper. You can taste a difference.
You can.
You can, and it's not as good.
Well, Canadian beef, right?
Yeah.
We love our producers here in Saskatchewan. 6:01, let's get to news. We'll start talking about that tariff situation. Premier Scott Moe sharing his thoughts on trade with the U.S. after a tentative trade deal was struck to put another round of tariffs from Donald Trump on pause. While the fine details are still being worked on, Moe says this broad agreement is good for Saskatchewan, Canada, and the world. CTV News has learned tariffs in certain sectors like steel and aluminum are being reduced as part of that agreement with the U.S. While these tariffs have only affected roughly 5% of Saskatchewan's economy, Moe says the status quo was not possible and negotiators have to find the best path forward.
You need to make every effort to come to a trade agreement with your largest trading partner. Should they move away from this deal in a month or 3 months or 6 months, that is beyond the control of myself or Prime Minister Carney or anyone in Canada for that matter.
As in a conference call, Prime Minister Mark Carney asked Canadian premiers to put American booze back on the shelves to move this deal forward. Saskatchewan and Alberta are the only two provinces continuing to sell American alcohol. Never took it off. The Saskatchewan NDP is sending out a new call for the provinces to bring in relief on fuel tax. Speaking in Regina Wednesday, the NDP says lowering the price of gas needs to be part of the cost of living relief process heading into back-to-school season, especially given higher revenues the opposition says aren't being passed on. A similar call was made by the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, you'll remember last week, especially with the federal fuel tax pause set to expire on Labor Day.
The federal government did the right thing by cutting the federal excise tax by 10 cents. That should have been matched by the provincial government scrapping the provincial fuel tax, which is actually 15 cents a litre.
In response, the government reiterated it has no plans to cut more than $500 million in provincial tax revenue from gas pumps, which are all fully reinvested into funding Saskatchewan highways and related infrastructure. Australian beef is showing up as a cheaper option for some cuts on Canadian grocery store shelves. You may start to notice more Australian beef products at the meat counter, but Tyler Fulton, president of the Canadian Cattle Association, says there are differences between Australian and Canadian produced beef. Fulton says Australian cattle are mostly raised on grass with some grain feeding at the end, which he says results in leaner beef. He says imported beef can help fill short-term gaps in supply, but he doesn't see a major concern for Canadian producers.
We're on a great trajectory to build the herd, but it takes time, and so I think there's just an appreciation that there's a short-term need, and Australia fills that.
Fulton adds having imported beef available is better than leaving shoppers without any options. The First Nations Health Ombudsman has some recommendations at the halfway mark of an independent review of hospital safety and security. In May, the province announced a third party would conduct a review into security and safety at hospitals across Saskatchewan after a number of concerns about violence and weapons in healthcare facilities. Diane LaFond, the First Nations Health Ombudsperson, recently met with the former Saskatchewan Saskatoon Police Chief Clive Whale, who is leading that review. LaFond presented 3 recommendations for him to consider, including bringing more Indigenous voices to the table, strengthening security accountability, and reviewing security intervention. The review is expected to be complete by the end of November. A melanoma vaccine is showing very promising results in a late-stage trial. The innovative skin cancer treatment combines immunotherapy and mRNA technology for vaccine companies. Merck and Moderna said the treatment, quote, results in statistically significant and clinically meaningful improvements. The therapy could see a reduction in the risk of melanoma recurrence, and could open the door to personalized treatments for other types of cancer. The phase 3 trial is the last stage before seeking regulatory approval, but we're not quite there yet. The companies will present data at an oncology conference and share it with regulators. RCMP asking for your help regarding the theft of a log splitter in the RM of Moose Creek. This is the log splitter that has stolen a black and yellow Champion towable gas-powered wood log splitter with a bent exhaust pipe and scrape on the sidearm. It was believed to be stolen sometime between August 4th and August 7th from a rural property in the RM of Moose Creek. If you have any video or information, call Crime Stoppers. A new and far more serious charge has been laid against a Halifax man accused of making a bomb threat against the city's U.S. consulate earlier this month.
We've now laid new information with the Section 424 charge, which is threatening to commit an offense, which is a bombing of the U.S. Consulate General in Halifax. And so that's an internationally protected person under the criminal code.
The new charge carries a potential 14-year prison sentence. If convicted, 54-year-old Ali Asakarim was initially charged with mischief and uttering threats. The incident ended up with a massive lockdown in downtown Halifax. Police also accusing him of placing a propane tank and flammable liquids in his car before parking it near the consulate. The incident ended peacefully with the seizure and removal of the car and the man's arrest. The Vancouver Police Department's Missing Persons Unit is actively working with Dutch police to try to solve a cold case.
Hij hier op zijn bed. Ze noemen hem Lucky.
Police in the Netherlands have been trying to identify this man known only as Lucky. We told you about this yesterday. Now, they believe he could have a Canadian connection, as others there knew him as Chris the Canadian. He's been living in a care facility after falling and suffering a severe brain injury in Amsterdam in 2023. Online sleuths suggesting the man could be John Russell Kenny, a Vancouver man who lost contact with his family decades ago. He hasn't had contact with his family since 1993, but wasn't reported missing until 2018. The VPD's missing persons site describes Kenny as someone who's suffered from mental health issues and was transient in nature. They say the investigation remains ongoing, and if a connection is made, they'll give an update as soon as appropriate. Former Ontario Minister Caroline Mulroney has been hired by the Royal Bank of Canada. She'll be taking on the role as vice chair at RBC. The announcement says Mulroney will advise business leaders at the bank on government policy, regulatory and public sector developments. Mulroney stepped down from her seat in the Ontario legislature in June. News of the major move coming for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex overnight, with multiple reports. Prince Harry and his wife Meghan are moving back to the UK.
Now, not coming back as working royals, but coming back to live in the United Kingdom. And I think what else is really significant also is that they've enrolled their children in school to start in September. That is a family that's putting down roots.
The couple have 2 children, Prince Archie, who is 7, and Princess Lilibet, who is 5. They've been living in California since 2020 after the couple stepped back from royal duties and a clash with the royal family. Last month, they all visited the King and Queen. The visit was the first time King Charles had seen his grandchildren in 4 years. The King reportedly learned of the news on Sunday. The Saskatchewan Roughriders could have one of their star receivers back in the lineup very soon.
In the second quarter, Faco left, caught, touchdown, Samuel Emelis.
Sam Emelis was a full participant at practice yesterday for the first time in 3 weeks after sustaining an injury in Week 8 against the Edmonton Elks. He went from being a game-time decision in Week 9 to the 6-game injured list as a precaution.
It's tough, but
thankfully, guys stepped up. I missed 3 games. I think we won 2. So, guys that had to replace me stepped up, and we kind of see what they can bring to the table, and that's big for the long run.
It's always good to see people back on the field. Like anything, we'll see what that looks like at the end of the week. But it's anytime you have more and more people come back, it's encouraging.
Even should MLS come off the 6th game, the 12 riders remain on that list, like Kian Schaefer-Baker and, of course, Thor, your running back. The star-studded lineup of performers at the CCMAs is getting longer. We'll tell you about that coming up at 8 o'clock. We're going to get right into your weather forecast for this part of the hour. Kayleen Sawatsky is standing by with that. Kayleen, what's going on out there today?
Well, honestly, not a whole lot. This is the type of morning where you really want to just get outside and enjoy the nice weather while we still have it. Regina is close to being the cold spot in the province right now. The cold spot is actually Coronach, sitting at about 8.1 degrees. Regina's only at 9 degrees. So again, we're close to that cold spot. We have winds coming in at 7 kilometers per hour and mainly cloudy skies to start the day. In Saskatoon, we're at 11 degrees. Again, mainly cloudy. Winds currently coming in at 11 kilometers per hour. So a really nice start to the day. The hot spot is actually up in Buffalo Narrows, sitting just over 15 degrees to start the day. Here's a look at that radar and satellite. So we did see late yesterday some rain falling in areas around Prince Albert, and then that was pushing eastward overnight and into early this morning. Also this morning we're seeing a small system moving into the southwest corner of the province, right around Swift Current there. Now we're actually expecting into the afternoon very small amounts of rain to continue falling in the southwest corner of the province. Right around Moose Jaw, we're currently seeing about 2 millimeters of rain falling by the end of the day. Overnight, though, we could be seeing more of that falling just south of Swift Current there. Regina could be getting some very light drizzle overnight. This is at about 1 a.m. on your screen, what we're seeing. Friday, though, looking very clear. This is the morning, about 10:15 a.m. into Friday afternoon. Again, still looking very clear in all portions of the province, not just from the rain, but also from the clouds. We're going to be seeing a whole lot of sunshine in the coming days. And then this is looking forward to Saturday afternoon, 12:30 p.m. We're seeing just a little bit of rain hovering right on that U.S. border there. We're not really expecting too much of that to be coming into Saskatchewan. So the coming days and the early weekend is looking very clear, very sunny. We just mentioned this right around Moose Jaw, about 2 millimeters of rain expected to be falling by the end of the day today. Right now we're seeing that number sit around 0 for Swift Current. However, we still could be seeing just the lightest amount of drizzle there. And of course, as we know, these numbers can and do frequently change. So we're going to keep an eye on that southwest corner of the province throughout the day today. Today's forecast in terms of temperatures looking really good, back to above that seasonal average yet again. 25 for Yorkton and the Battlefords, 26 in Prince Albert and Saskatoon today, 27 for Regina and Estevan and Swift Current as well, and 28 degrees in Moose Jaw and Weyburn. Air quality is also looking not bad down south. It's up north right around La Loche that we do have an air quality statement currently in effect. So keep that in mind if you are susceptible to that smoke in the air. In case you missed it, a farm east of Saskatoon is offering yoga classes with bunnies.
Oh.
Yeah, 2 classes per week are offered at the Wanders Tiny Farm. For many that were in attendance, it was their first bunny yoga experience. While the bunnies may hop in and cuddle or distract the participants, the instructor, Alicia, says it's all part of the experience. She says bunny gazing is one of the segments of the class because the bunnies create a unique type of zen.
It is this extra layer. Like, a lot of people aren't coming to bunny yoga to get the whole Zen yoga experience, but it is getting them in their body and it is bringing joy into their life. So, I mean, like, that's a whole lot of extra.
The class draws people from all over the province and runs into the early fall. Would you go?
I'm afraid that they'd have a lot of droppings and they'd be all over me.
Oh, that's a really good point.
Right?
Yeah.
I want to know why they didn't ask the goat in the background, who very much wanted attention, for a comment on the story.
So are they going to do goat yoga next?
I hope so. All kinds of animals.
Okay, so today is National Mosquito Day.
Oh. That's pesty.
I know. So I decided to ask today, if you could get rid of one minor inconvenience from your everyday life, what would it be? Because I know in the grand scheme of things, mosquitoes aren't that big of a deal, but they love me. I am covered in mosquito bites every single summer.
Yeah, they like you.
Yeah, I would get rid of mosquitoes. That would be my one minor inconvenience I would just completely get rid of. What about you?
Director Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be, it's a real big pain. We want to know from you, though. Let's get some real answers. Scan the QR code that's on your screen. Your phone's probably already in your hand, or you text 10400. We're going to check in with Mike Siona when we come back.
Canada's biggest grocery chains find themselves in a sticky situation after being accused of negligence for allegedly selling watered-down maple syrup in their stores. A class action lawsuit filed in Quebec's Superior Court claims Loblaws, Metro, and Sobeys were betraying their customers' trust for years by selling cans of maple syrup from a producer southwest of Montreal that were allegedly cut with cane sugar, even though they were advertised as being pure. John Deere narrowing its annual profit outlook as a stabilizing agriculture sector points to a more pronounced rebound next year for farm machinery. As we look ahead, we continue to believe 2026 will mark the bottom of the current AG equipment cycle, Deere Chief Executive Officer John May said in a statement on Thursday. And Walmart's quarterly sales fell short of expectations, a rare miss that's likely to stoke concern about the leading big box retailer decelerating alongside a slow-growing U.S. economy. Sales at U.S. stores open at least a year, excluding fuel, rose 2.6% in the second quarter. That rate of growth, hindered in part by pricing pressure in its pharmacy business, is the slowest in more than 6 years. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
You have until midnight tonight to help keep stars in the sky. Mike Siona is standing by with everything we need to know. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning indeed. It's midnight tomorrow night is that final deadline for the Stars Lottery with Jerry Lynn Johnston here in one of the two houses that we are giving away. Well, not we, you guys are giving it away. Where do we get our tickets here, first and foremost?
Yeah, so like you said, this is our final deadline week, tomorrow at midnight. Tickets are available at $65 for the Stars Lottery. This is Saskatchewan's biggest charity lottery, and we really do rely on the support. It's a very important fundraiser for us. 1/3 of our funding comes from this lottery, so very important to our operations.
And, I mean, that's critical. That's a huge chunk of the budget pie. Just talk about how important it is, how many missions you guys fly in, and just the role that Stars plays in the province.
Stars has been in operation since 1985, so over 41 years in operation. We've flown over 66,000 missions across Western Canada. On average, we fly about 10 missions a day, so that's critical, and it costs us approximately $12.8 million to operate one base. We have two here in the province, Regina and Saskatoon. We're so lucky the government provides us about half of our funding, and then we need to fundraise to keep those helicopters in the sky.
No doubt. Now, you mentioned bases in Saskatoon and Regina, and show homes, grand prize show homes, totaling just about $3 million between the two of them in Saskatoon and Regina. They are immaculate this year.
Thank you. Yes, the prizes are incredible. We have over 1,600 prizes valued at $4 million. So lots of opportunity to win. Like I said, tickets are $65. We have an amazing 50-50. You can win up to $2.5 million. An instant win opportunity every chance. You get a ticket, you have a chance to win instantly as well. So many opportunities to win. Please buy a ticket. We really appreciate the support.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Just shy of 42 hours left. That's it for the Stars Lottery. You can go to sk.starslottery.ca to get your ticket. Go on the next commercial break.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying. I was trying to put a little extra urgency on that, it seems. Mike, thank you.
Well, they could buy it by tonight if they want. You bet.
Time now for a look at our national forecast. It's going to be a warm day over in Prince George with that sunshine, 27 degrees, 26 in Vancouver today. Also expecting to see that sunshine. Where we're expecting to see a little bit more of that precipitation, though, is Calgary, 24 degrees with a risk of some thunderstorms. Mainly cloudy skies in Edmonton today, 24 degrees. More of that sunshine over in Winnipeg, up to 24 degrees. And in Toronto today, we're seeing a high of 23, so a more mild day there. Ottawa, 24. Montreal, 24. Fredericton, up to 27. 27 degrees, though. Halifax 24 and St. John's with some rain this afternoon, up to 18 degrees. As we go to break, here's a look at your gas prices in Regina. Your average price is $163.9. You could find it for as low as $152.9. In Saskatoon, your average price is $169.9, and you could find it for as low as $159.9. In the farm markets today, we find the street price of canola at $767.95 per ton. The futures price $819.90 per ton. Amber durum wheat at $276.15 per ton, and red spring wheat $287.80 per ton. And the Canadian dollar is up today. It's at 72.34 cents US. Police in Regina make a major drug bust. The details in 3 minutes.
Good morning. Welcome to your morning. We begin with the Prime Minister, Mark Carney, now asking provinces to put American booze back on store shelves as a new trade deal between Canada and the U.S. is finalized.
The Prime Minister has asked us as premiers, as provinces, to return the U.S. alcohol to the shelves, so we'll work through that process.
Almost every province has banned the sale of U.S. alcohol, which has remained one of the U.S. president's biggest irritants. Alberta and Saskatchewan are the only two provinces that continue to sell American products. The Prime Minister made the request while going over the new expected deal with this cabinet and the premiers yesterday.
An agreement that will not only continue to protect American workers, American jobs, American supply chains, but really strengthen the North American economy.
Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and his American counterpart seem to be happy with the tentative deal they've reached. 3 sources tell CTV News there will be reductions to the tariffs currently on the table for steel and aluminum sectors. Another major concern has been over American access to Canada's supply-managed dairy sector. Trump says they've reached a fair deal on that too, making tariffs non-existent for U.S. farmers. Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc has said Canada needs to protect the supply management regime, and he's confident they'll be able to do that.
Farmers are going to be thrilled. Our manufacturers are going to be thrilled.
It's very frustrating because we only have so much milk to produce for the needs of the country, and when they take some away, then we don't get those increases.
Dairy farmers and a number of other industries and businesses are waiting for clarity on what exactly is in the tentative deal. Things are expected to be finalized by Friday. Until then, Canada's lead trade negotiator will remain in Washington to continue those talks. A 3-month investigation has led to fentanyl production and drug trafficking charges in Regina. A search warrant on the 3800 block of East Cormorant Drive led to the seizure of approximately 1.5 kilograms of processed fentanyl, suspected pure unprocessed fentanyl that could have produced between 3 and 5 kilos of street fentanyl, other substances used in production, and more than $24,000 in Canadian cash. Police say the seizure prevented more than 50,000 single doses of fentanyl from hitting the streets and has an approximate street value of more than $500,000.
This is the first time where we've seen that the actual usable product is produced here. So that's kind of the difference, where we're having drugs that are being transported here and supplied to Regina versus now we have a raw product that came to Regina and they produced it here in order to make an enormous amount of usable product for the people in Regina that are addicted.
2 men face charges. 33-year-old Evan Drew Silser of Regina and 20-year-old Matthew Johanna of Richmond, BC. They've been charged with various drug offenses, including production of fentanyl. The first time that charge has been laid in Regina. Police also issuing a Canada-wide warrant for 20-year-old Cassidy Marie Arsenault of Burnaby, BC, in relation to the investigation. She's wanted on several possession, transportation, and trafficking charges under the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act. Saskatchewan's Police Oversight Organization has cleared police of wrongdoing in a Regina incident last year that saw a plainclothes police officer shoot and kill a homicide suspect. The morning of July 18, 2025, officers had a confrontation with a 29-year-old man wanted in connection with homicide investigation. After being warned that he had a gun, the man dropped the knife but refused to take the other hand out of his pocket. He quickly took that hand out holding a black object, and one of the officers fired his pistol, hitting him in the shoulder. The object was later revealed to be a cell phone. The handgun, non-working replica of a Glock 19. But given information known at the time, CERT investigators deemed that the officer who fired the fatal shot had reason to believe his life and the lives of others were in danger. A nonprofit in Regina exploring the opportunity for youth to build and later live in newly developed homes in the city's north central neighborhood. At Wednesday's executive meeting, council unanimously approved transferring the property located at 1202 Retallick Street from the Saskatchewan Housing Corporation to the city. The plot will be used to develop the Building Futures Collective Hub, aimed to support youth employment, neighborhood revitalization, and future housing construction.
An opportunity to teach the trades and get young people potentially building and renovating homes is just another opportunity. It's another opportunity to grow and think maybe that's a pathway for me as a career, but it's also allowing young people to have a safe space to live.
Final approval for the purchase of the property will be presented to City Council at Wednesday's meeting. Eagle feathers will now be available for people taking the stand in Saskatchewan Provincial Court as a means of swearing or affirming to tell the truth. One eagle feather will be kept at each of the court's 13 permanent locations for use during proceedings, the result of a gift from the sister of a provincial court judge made in memory of their father. Access to an eagle feather either in a permanent courtroom or circuit points will be arranged in advance through the local court office. People can also bring their own eagle feather to court for the same promise. Now, other options for swearing in or reaffirming your court to religious symbols, maybe Holy Bible, like a holy books like a Bible, Quran, or Tehran, or a non-religious solemn affirmation. New speed cameras are currently being installed in Regina, so if you've got in Saskatchewan, if you got a lead foot, pay attention to this one. This one was put up earlier in Wednesday in Saskatoon Circle Drive between College and Attridge Drives. The new cameras are mounted on poles, replacing the camera boxes that you've seen on the side of the road. New locations for the speed enforcement are being added, and fines will stay the same. The new cameras are a result of a new contract with Global Traffic Group after the previous vendor ended its agreement early. SGI did not give a date for when all of the cameras will be installed, but says the service will be available soon. This weekend marks 150 years since the signing of Treaty 6, and one group is commemorating the milestone in a big way. On Monday, a convoy of runners and horseback riders, all ages, departed James Smith Cree Nation for a 4-day trek across central Saskatchewan, all the way to Fort Carlton. Participants from neighboring First Nations communities joined along the way. The group will end up at Fort Carlton just in time for a commemorative gathering that begins Thursday and continues through the weekend.
Back when our treaties were signed, they had to travel to get to Fort Carlton, and that didn't happen in one day. A trail that we took here is the original trail that our ancestors traveled to Fort Carlton to go sign treaties.
The purpose of the ride is to promote healing, peace, cultural resilience, and to honor historical events, they say. The trek is open to anyone who wants to join. The St. Victor petroglyphs were once a meeting point for Indigenous people. Now, new testing says it's likely it was a popular spot for hundreds of years. According to carbon-14 testing done at the area, people were meeting at the stone cliff going back as far as 120 BC to 900 AD. The dates determined by evidence gathered by a dig 50 centimeters deep near the rock. The stone carvings were likely done by many of the tribes who visited over that time period.
There's quite a range of time that people have been coming and going, and along with the pottery, you kind of get a picture of who was living in the valleys here, and you can't really say that any of this is really matching with who carved the petroglyphs, but it's starting to put a puzzle together.
360 stone carvings have been found at the now Provincial Historic Park. A beloved former Calgary Stampeder is back in the city to work with some of the game's future stars.
You need to come back and just share some of the knowledge, and if you had to spend some time with Coach Sheehan and the rest of the entire staff and the entire team, this is something I couldn't hesitate to do.
Former star quarterback Henry Burr has hit the turf this week as a guest coach for the Calgary Dinos. The team was thrilled to have him back. He even suggested Dinos starting quarterback David Jordan try his hand at the Canadian game when they were together at Florida A&M University. Former Rough Rider, too. Let's get over to the Weather Forecast Center. Kayleen Sawatsky, what's going on?
Well, not a whole lot to start the day. We're seeing a lot of sunshine out there right now. 9 degrees, winds coming in at 7 kilometers per hour. We're not really going to be seeing those winds going up as much today compared to yesterday through Regina, so that's nice to see as well. 11 degrees in Saskatoon. We are seeing some cloud cover right now. Winds coming in at 11 kilometers per hour. Here's a look at wind gusts for the day. So the only place where we're really seeing those going up is down through that southeast corner of the province into the early part of the afternoon, and then the later part of the afternoon into the evening. We also could be seeing them going up down through the southwest corner of the province right around Swift Current. But even still, when we say they're going to be increasing, it's still only up to about 30 kilometers per hour because we're not really seeing any other colors creeping in other than that blue color. So it's not going to be a bad day down south. Up north, could be seeing them up to about 40 kilometers per hour, but that is far up north. Current temperatures now, we're seeing 12 degrees in Stony Rapids, 15 in Buffalo Narrows, 10 degrees in Prince Albert, 9 degrees in Nipawin, and 11 degrees in Melfort. Down in the south, Coronach was our cold spot just a few minutes ago, but we're still seeing single digits in areas around Assiniboia, Weyburn, Regina, as we just mentioned as well. So we're waiting for that warm up to happen. Other than that, though, 10 degrees in Estevan, 11 in Yorkton, 12 degrees in Wynyard, 12 degrees in the Battlefords, 10 in Kindersley, 11 in Swift Current, and 14 degrees to wake you up in East End right now. Into the afternoon today, things are looking really nice. There are a few areas through the southwest corner of the province where we could be seeing some very light drizzle today, likely into the later part of the afternoon and evening hours, though. Moose Jaw could be seeing just a little bit of that drizzle into the evening hours, but in the early afternoon, mix of sun and cloud, 28 degrees, 28 in Weyburn as well, 27 for Swift Current, Regina, and Estevan today. Again, all those numbers down south are above that seasonal average. We're closer to that seasonal average around the Battlefords and Yorkton at 25 degrees, 26 in Saskatoon and Prince Albert today. Now here's a look at that 7-day forecast. 25 degrees for your Friday with a lot of sunshine on the way. Also seeing a lot of sunshine on Saturday, 27. Sunday, we are seeing that system roll through, so that's coming with chance of rain, risk of thunderstorms, but it is going to be warm, 28 degrees. 26 on Monday, 23 on Tuesday and Wednesday, so things are cooling off by mid next week. In Saskatoon, 25 degrees tomorrow, up to 28 on Saturday. It's going to be a really nice Saturday in the province. Sunday, though, we're seeing that chance of rain going back up again. 28 degrees, 23 on Monday, 21 on Tuesday, and 22 by Wednesday.
An average of 20% weight loss on the GLP-1 tirzepatide is not uncommon, but scientists say to keep the weight off, you might have to stay on the drug long term. A new study in The Lancet showed that after 2 years, at least 95% of people who continued using the injectable drug maintained the majority of their weight loss, and most patients who stopped the drug regained at least some of the weight. If you no longer want a shot, consider switching to a daily pill. Studies show they also help people keep excess pounds from returning. Along with helping you slim down, taking a GLP-1 can also help control blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar. To maximize the health benefits of any weight loss effort, follow a balanced diet that includes a good intake of fiber, fruit and vegetables, and lean protein. Common side effects from taking a GLP-1 include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, especially with higher doses. With this Medical Minute, I'm Melissa Adon.
Health Report, brought to you in part by SEIU West, Saskatchewan's first healthcare union.
And welcome to another edition of X's and O's with West Cape's Riders in BC to face the Lions on Sunday, West. And they're coming off that loss against Hamilton where essentially Trey Ford came in and destroyed everything. The defense just couldn't stop him. They've had trouble with guys that are mobile when they play quarterback, and Nathan Rourke can do that. So what is the biggest thing this defense needs to do facing a guy that can move around pretty good in the pocket?
Yeah, I think, really it comes down to, I feel like the Riders against Hamilton really really just played it a little too vanilla on defense, I think, because of some of the issues with the secondary. They kind of figured they would not put any defense or DBs in any binds and really just sit back in kind of a shell coverage and let the linebackers maybe try to sneak into some of those underneath passing zones and maybe turn them over. But it didn't happen with Frost, and yeah, definitely didn't happen with Trey Ford either. Obviously, Trey runs around a little more. He made some big plays late in that game in the third quarter and in the fourth, and I think they really just need to send a little more pressure, kind of leave their DBs to their assignments and not really help them in any way. Just play the game and call it as you would like to call it. I think they kind of got away from that as head coaches and coordinators with just the limits they've had at the injuries at the skill position. So we'll see if they kind of smarten up from that. But yeah, that's the only thing, because linebacker-wise, they have a good crew and they usually get more pressure up front. But they didn't have like any stats, Lee. I was looking at it, was like just tackles, no TF, no tackles for the losses, no sacks, no. I mean, I think there was a couple of pass breakups, but really just nothing substantial on defense last week.
And Nathan Rourke's going to get his own. He's going to get some yards running the ball, too. You just got to make sure he doesn't damage you too much. And to be honest, the Lions' offense isn't clicking right now as we've seen before in the past. So hopefully they'll be able to work on that. The Riders, as is. What about the offense, though, Wes? I don't know if I've seen Trevor Harris like that in a long time, just making some bad reads or just a little bit under pressure.
Yeah, I think they kept it a little too vanilla on offense as well, Lee. And I think Hamilton came in saying, we doubt they're going to lean heavily on the run. They're probably going to look for Trevor Harris to kind of win this with his arm. So they just kind of sat back, you know what I mean, made him have to dink and dunk. And then when he really did try to throw it to the second, third level, he missed a couple shots and he had a couple of picks, right? Obviously, that one late in the game, he's really probably just throwing in the pressure, trying to get it in a tight window and missed. But yeah, the offense definitely kind of just maybe run a couple more screens. I feel like the Riders have kind of gotten away from their screen game again. Their screen game a little bit since last season. I feel like they ran a lot more, and they started off earlier in the season with a few to Kean Schaefer-Baker. Maybe they feel like their personnel isn't necessarily best for that, but yeah, stick to the run or be a little heavier on the run, and then maybe try to set up some short passes that are designed to try to get to second and third level with the screen game. Even though I'm not a big fan of wide receiver screens, they do have their purpose.
Now the running game star Thomas, 9 attempts, 4 yards per average. It's not that bad. So whether he gets the call or if Quali Conley's good to go, he's been able to show that he can get the job done too. So it will be interesting to see if they can get that running game going once again. Yeah. Well, we'll find out what to do in BC. They got to catch up to the Edmonton Elks, who are now ahead of them for first place in the West Division. Analyze that game, plus we'll get you set for their next game against the Argos on another edition of X's and O's.
X's and O's, brought to you by Campion College at the University of Regina.
It's August 20th, and we have these milestones to share with you. We'll start off with a big happy birthday going out to Reed. We hope you have a great birthday. Lots of love from your whole family. Happy birthday to Todd, marking his 55th birthday today. Love and well wishes coming your way from Haley, Heidi, Amy, and Alyssa. Turning 65 years old today is Joe. Happy birthday to you. A ton of love coming your way from your kids and grandkids. And a big happy birthday going out to Fred. He's marking his 90th today. Congrats on this new milestone. Lots of love from Bill, Kim, Wendy, and the family.
Milestones, brought to you by Harbor Landing Village, an award-winning senior care and living community in Regina.
If you have a milestone coming up, send us an email to yourmorningsaskatchewan@ctv.ca or simply scan that QR code on your screen. Please send those in at least one day in advance.
All right, we've got video evidence of your attempt. Take us through it.
Yeah, you know, try and fail, but never fail to try. That's the thing that we walk away from for the slinky attempt. The world record is 54 stairs. It was tough to find a spot at Mosaic to have it. But yeah, you know, it shook its way back. It can't touch anything, though. It couldn't touch the rails. It couldn't touch the seats either, which made it real tough. That's a narrow little little way there. When they were building Mosaic, they didn't think of Slinky records, and that's kind of on them. But I'm not done with it yet. We got close a couple times. I think we got into the 40s a few times, so like we were in striking distance, but we did have to get out of there at some point. Even the riders were on the field practicing at the time, and some of their staff came over to us at one point, like right off the start as we were walking around with all of our cameras and stuff, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And they were very concerned that we were videotaping their practice. I was like, "No, I have this giant Slinky. That's why I'm here," which honestly is probably worse than trying to steal their practice tips.
I know they watch this show. They probably know you're a longtime Edmonton Elks fan, and they had to just be a little bit, cautious.
I thought that might be a consolation prize. I'm like, I didn't get the Slinky record, but I could steal some plays right now.
There you go. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Daryl.
About to be short on time. Someone jumped the gun on the new Jason Statham movie. Mutiny is due out in theaters Friday, but according to The Verge, the entire film was briefly available to stream Wednesday on Amazon's Prime Video service. It's unclear why the movie was on Amazon's servers. The film's distributor, Lionsgate, has no direct connection with Amazon.
I was like, hell yeah!
David Krumholtz says he's taking an indefinite break from acting. He wrote on social media, even a successful career like his includes a mountain of disappointments, and he needs some time away, adding he's grateful to all who support and believe in me. Krumholtz, who's 48, has appeared in more than 140 films and TV shows.
Growing up, I watched my father being called boy. I ordained myself Mr. T. So the first word out of everybody's mouth would be Mr. That's a sign of respect my father didn't get.
Mr. T, I Pity the Fool, follows the origin story of a unique entertainment icon. Part of the Untold sports documentary series, Mr. T, I Pity the Fool debuts September 8th on Netflix. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Here's proof that when you take pride in your work, no matter what it is, people will notice.
Wow, wow, wow. Oh my God. No.
This couple was noticing how perfectly stacked all the items in the freezer section was at their local grocery store.
Oh.
You know, from fries to frozen peas, everything was front facing so you could see the brand name and find exactly what you needed with so much ease.
Were they there at 9 a.m. when they opened the doors?
And nothing is out of place yet. This person takes pride in what they do.
They sure do. They sure do. We all know the kids say the darndest things, like this.
Today I opened the frog's mouth and pulled a bug out.
Bug out?
Yeah.
Of what?
Of a frog's mouth.
The frog already ate the bug.
You heard that right. 3-year-old Halston told her mom she took a bug out of a frog's mouth. During the conversation, to her mom's disbelief, she calmly explains that the bug was too big for the frog's mouth. She needed to take it out so the frog didn't choke.
Oh.
We don't know if this is a real frog or a toy frog.
Yeah,
real fly, fake fly.
Leave it up to the imagination.
Oh, yikes. Welcome to Thursday, August 20th.
We want to support our industry. We want to make things easier for our customers and not fall into the trap of thinking this is a normal way of operating.
Uncertainty lingers. Many businesses and industries holding their breath as negotiators work to finalize a tentative agreement between Canada and the U.S.
The federal government did the right thing by cutting the federal excise tax.
The Saskatchewan NDP sending out a new call for the province to bring in relief at the pump.
In business here early in the second quarter. Finkel caught, touchdown, Samuel Emelis.
The rider receiver trending in the right direction. Maybe an early return from the 6-game injured list. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. Thanks for starting your Thursday with us.
The beaches shook the lake last night in Regina. The reigning Juno Group of the Year kicked things off at Shake the Lake at the Connexus Arts Center. Fans get a rest today. Friday and Saturday, you're going to see bands like Sugar Ray, Smash Mouth, Honeymoon Suite, and more. Tickets available at the box office. Boss's wife took this video. She was front row.
And you know what? I'm jealous. I wish I was there. I heard they were great, but unfortunately, in this job, we go to bed at 8 p.m.
What do you what's this wee stuff? I was 9:30 for me.
My head was on my pillow. I was out like a light.
I wish I had a terrible sleep. Let's get to news. We got Andrew Scheer standing by for reaction to this. The cautious optimism of a potential deal has some breathing a sigh of relief, but others still a little anxious. CTV's senior correspondent Judy Trin with reaction from farmers, retailers, and aluminum and steel industries on the potential deal between Canada and the U.S.
Our farmers are going to be thrilled. Our manufacturers are going to be thrilled.
There's no doubt Donald Trump likes to win, prompting Canadians to wonder what they could lose. Giving American producers bigger quotas of milk and cheese could cut into revenue for Canada's 9,200 dairy farmers.
It's very frustrating because we only have so much milk to produce for the needs of the country, and when they take some away, then we don't get those increases.
There are some signs tariffs on automobiles could be reduced. Auto parts manufacturers are hoping the U.S. understands that cars partly made in Canada are de facto American vehicles.
A General Motors pickup truck in Oshawa with 50% U.S. content and 60% U.S. steel in it is as much an American car as the one that's made in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and they're just shooting themselves in the foot.
Duties on steel and aluminum could also be lowered. The war in the Middle East has led to shortages and driven up prices.
The price got to about $6,000 to $7,000 a ton instead of about $3,500 a ton on the U.S. market.
Singular bow. Meanwhile, small businesses like Victoire Boutique, which sells Canadian-made jewelry and clothes to American customers online, are breathing a sigh of relief. It appears a deal may stave off Trump's new 50% tariffs on $28 billion of Canadian goods.
We want to support our industry. We want to make things easier for our customers and not fall into the trap of thinking this is a normal way of operating.
For now, there's tepid optimism. After Friday's deadline extension passes and documents are signed, perhaps that'll give way to some certainty.
For more reaction, we welcome in the Conservative House Leader, Andrew Scheer. Andrew, thank you so much for doing this. You've had a little chance to read over the fine print of this thing. What's your reaction to the deal?
Well, we'll wait and see what actually comes out finally. There's been reports over the last few days. My hope is that we get an elimination of tariffs. It sounds like Canada has given up, Mark Carney's given away quite a few concessions. If he comes back with a deal that includes no tariffs on Canadian manufacturing, steel and aluminum, then obviously we'd be supportive of that. We're hopeful that for the sake of Canadian workers, that's what Canada gets in return for giving away all these concessions. So still cautiously optimistic, but we'll actually see what Mark Carney comes back with. Remember, he promised a better deal. We believe it's fair to hold Mark Carney to his own standard. He said he'd come back with a better deal. For us, that means no tariffs.
Regina Capella is a rural riding for a large portion of it. A lot of dairy farmers in that area, and one of the things that President Trump has been arguing for is access to Canadian dairy.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is one of those things where, the U.S. does have a lot of supports for their own dairy sector through a variety of programs. So we understand, the Conservatives understand that agriculture needs markets. We need to be able to export. So anytime there's anything that affects the cost of equipment, the cost of inputs, that takes a big bite out of farmers' bottom line. As you know, about half my riding is rural. There's a lot of guys getting ready for harvest, if not in some places already started. So we're going to be watching that as well. So far, we've been able to, Conservatives have been able to push for things to make farming more affordable, improving bottom line for producers, but also reducing price at the grocery store. we're the ones that fighting against the carbon tax and the industrial carbon tax too. That's something that gets lost in a lot of the discussion. Mark Carney has kept in Justin Trudeau's industrial carbon tax. That makes manufacturing more expensive, makes a whole lot of inputs more expensive. So in addition to pushing for a good deal for Canadian farmers on trade, Conservatives are still pushing for things that reduce the cost of production to lower price at the grocery store and also help producers' bottom line.
Not far from here where we are in Regina, they are producing a lot of steel and aluminum, and that's been a major sticking point. Is this deal potentially, from what you've heard so far, good for Evraz and Saskatchewan manufacturers?
If we get those tariffs down to zero, that would be great. One thing I'm worried about is that all these concessions that Mark Carney is giving up right now just avoids the 50% tariff. That means that if he comes back with a deal where there's still 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum, there's going to be a lot of workers here in Regina, across the country, that will be scratching their heads saying, you know, Mark Carney seems to have given up quite a lot. What does he come back with? That's the big question, is what does he come back with? Does he come back with 0% tariffs, or does he come back with that baseline of 25% after giving up so much? That's what people are going to be watching.
Is the American booze thing a little bit of weird? In all of this, that seems to be one of the sticking points. He wants booze back on our shelves?
Yeah, that's my understanding. I mean, I'm going by the same reports that you are. That is a major sticking point. You know, consumers are free to boycott products that if they choose. I know that's the situation in some provinces. Some provinces have decided to take them off immediately. So Mark Carney, I understand, was on the phone with premiers trying to sort that out. So, you know, as our leader Pierre Poilievre said the other day, Mark Carney's not really briefing the opposition. He's not keeping us up to speed in terms of where they're at in the negotiations. So we're in a little bit of a wait and see mode. We'll see what the final deal is. But again, we believe it's fair to hold Mark Carney to his own promise. He didn't promise to give this the old college try during the last election. He said he could come back with a win, a better deal. To us, a better deal means no tariffs. So if he comes back with something where tariffs are still around that 25% mark, as I said, a lot of Canadians are going to be scratching their heads saying, you gave up so much, what did we get in return?
And Dominic LeBlanc is now going back to Washington to further those discussions. We'll continue to follow that. The House resumes on September 21st. Thank you so much for a couple of minutes.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a look at that morning view. It's brought to you by Stars Lottery. Your ticket funds life-saving care across Saskatchewan. To start us off in Regina, things are improving rather rapidly. We're at 12 degrees now, mainly sunny skies, winds coming in at 9 kilometers per hour. In Saskatoon, 13 degrees, so a warm start to the day. Mainly cloudy skies right now, winds coming in at 15 kilometers per hour. Pretty close to that Saskatchewan hotspot. That is still Buffalo Narrows, holding on to that crown. Still at 15 degrees, though. Coronach is still the cold spot in the province, currently sitting at about 8.1 degrees. Still. Radar and satellite showing that we did get some precipitation overnight and into early this morning. It was just east of Prince Albert and Saskatoon. And then we saw this smaller system moving into the southwest corner of the province early this morning. Into the afternoon, we also are expecting to be seeing just a little bit of that precipitation through the southwest as well. So we are going to be seeing some very light drizzle. Not seeing any large accumulations of rain, though, even with these spots of green popping up on our screen. We also are seeing just a little bit of yellow and red into those overnight hours and into tomorrow, so there could be more on the way. Other than that, though, Friday is looking very clear. A whole lot of sunshine on the way. We're looking pretty clear, not just from the rain, but also from the cloud cover as well. So expect a pretty sunny start to the weekend. When we're expecting more of that rain to really be moving through is actually going to be on Sunday. So enjoy your Friday and your Saturday. Total rainfall by about 11:30 p.m. tonight. We're only seeing about 1 millimeter of rain for Moose Jaw. Tracking right now, again, these numbers can and do frequently change, so we'll keep you updated on that, though. Today's forecast looking right around or slightly above the seasonal average in central Saskatchewan, but very much above the seasonal average down south. 25 degrees for the Battlefords today, 26 in Prince Albert and Saskatoon, 25 in Yorkton, 27 in Regina today, 28 in Weyburn, and 27 in Estevan. Down through that southeast corner of the province is where we could be seeing the strongest wind gusts, though, up to about 30 kilometers per hour, so still not bad, just a little more elevated than what we're seeing throughout parts of central Saskatchewan. 28 degrees in Moose Jaw today, 27 in Swift Current. Again, though, you're seeing those sunshine icons. We do have a chance of getting some of that rain, especially later into this evening and through overnight. And I also want to talk to you about air quality right now. We do have some air quality statements in effect, not for anywhere on the screen, but far up north, right around La Loche is where we are seeing that air quality is reduced today. So if you are very sensitive to the smoke in the air, you are going to want to stay inside today. Make sure you're keeping your windows and your doors closed. Now for a look at our rural forecast. A lot of sunshine in central Saskatchewan today, up to 24 degrees in Meadow Lake, 23 in Spiritwood, 26 in Watrous, and 27 in Outlook. We are seeing warmer temperatures down towards the south yet again today. 27 degrees in East End, 28 in Rockland, 27 in Pilot Butte, and 24 in Broadview. You are seeing a lot of sunshine down here as well, but we do have a chance of seeing some very light drizzle. Let's take a look at La Flèche, where internet plans up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel. 28 degrees this afternoon, mainly sunny skies, and northwest winds coming in up to 30 kilometers per hour.
That deadline is rapidly approaching, and one of the things you could win, Mike Siona, is that grand prize show home.
Yeah, not just one. There's two. There's one in Regina and one in Saskatoon. I mean, it's absolutely incredible, the prizing. But the cool thing with the Stars Lottery is it's truly the lottery we all win. And we're joined by Amy Wright here this morning, who is the mother of a very important patient. Tell us the story of your son and Stars.
Our son Thomas went for a dirt bike ride in April of 2024. He and his friends, their group, he was the leader of their group. They had a head-on collision. Thomas was in a head-on collision with a rider from the other group. He was very injured. He had a fractured pelvis in several places. He couldn't straighten his leg. The crew that was with him, the boys, very quickly knew he needed help. So they contacted 911. Stars was dispatched. They were in the Nesbitt Forest in northern Saskatchewan, and there was no ground ambulance getting to him, so it was critical for Stars to be able to land. They landed within 400 yards of where he was. They were able to work with other ground crew that got to him and had a side-by-side that could get him to the helicopter and get him out of there. He had a laceration on his groin and he was bleeding and in immense pain. So for him to have had to have gotten out of the forest via ground on the side-by-side, I mean, you were going walking pace, uneven terrain, just unbelievable that the support was there for him to get him the help that he needed when he needed it the most.
No doubt. I mean, it truly is life-saving to have that service, not just here in Saskatchewan, but again across Western Canada. And they do so many stories like this that we continue to hear. And it's one of those things that, boy, you hope you never need it, but you're sure happy that we have it. Amy, what a great story. You can support stories like that, as unfortunate as they are, with your purchase before midnight tomorrow night and win some incredible prizes. I mean, the two show homes alone are valued at almost $3 million combined. It's incredible. Everybody wins.
That's roughly half of a Mike Siona annual salary. Thank you so much. And you cannot win without a ticket, folks.
Hi, everyone. Mark Rowe inside the SportsCenter newsroom with your must-see moment from Wednesday to Fort. We're going to head to Minnesota with the Twins taking on the Braves. Bottom two, it's Cody Clemens, who hits one to shallow left field. And check out Austin Riley, who goes all out and makes the outstanding catch. Riley reaching out with his glove to take away a hit from Clemens. That web gem earns your must-see moment from Wednesday. And Thursday on TSN, it's Week 12 in the CFL, kicking off with the Red Blacks visiting the Alouettes. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. That's all from the SportsCenter newsroom. Have a great day.
In case you missed it, almost 2 months since two RCMP officers were injured in a shooting in Melville, a young girl from the community is focusing on running a successful fundraiser. Now, 10-year-old Hadley Polk comes from a family of RCMP officers and is close with the Mounties who were shot, so she didn't hesitate when it came to support. Hadley's bracelets debuted as a fundraiser organized by Melville firefighters in July. She raised $4,000.
Wow.
These days, she's selling bracelets from her stand in her family's front yard and has gathered over $8,000 for the two injured Mounties already.
I think one of them is very proud of me. He even wears some of my bracelets around, and he doesn't take it off now.
Okay, so she's going to continue to make these. They didn't give us an address where you can stop by, but I'm sure if you drive around the community, somebody will point you in the right direction.
Oh my goodness, a beautiful initiative. She must have a beautiful heart.
Absolutely. Well raised for sure. Let's get to our question of the day.
All right, so we're asking you today if you could get rid of one minor inconvenience from your everyday life, what would it be? I was expecting people to be like red lights, you know, or
speed cameras.
Speed cameras.
It's National
yes.
Mosquito Day. That's why we've asked this.
National Mosquito Day, and I would get rid of every mosquito.
Bravo.
Yes.
It's not doing the dishes. I don't mind doing the dishes. I mind putting the dishes away.
See, that's me with laundry. I don't mind doing laundry. I mind folding my laundry afterwards and hanging it up. That's what gets me.
Oh, maple bugs.
I would get rid of all maple bugs. Or every cricket in our CTV studio here.
That is a wide-ranging family.
Yeah, Richie saying when the fitted sheet pops off the corner at 2 a.m., that's it. My night is ruined.
You know what I don't like is when somebody's having their roof done. And maybe they're tarring and the smell wafts into the areas that you're in. That's horrible.
Yeah, that's just awful. Kelly from Bigger saying mosquitoes, ticks, and early morning shifts. We love our early morning shifts, right?
Well, it pays our bills.
Okay, we want to hear from you. So what's that one minor inconvenience that you wish you could just get rid of from your life? Text us your name and your answer at 10400. Standard message rates may apply, or scan that QR code on your screen.
Studio consideration provided by Father's Furniture, specializing in quality Canadian-made furniture.
All right, me versus you, Kayleen. It is time for our morning mystery. It is a thing. 3 clues. Clue number 1 is this. This office staple was originally considered a mistake.
Okay.
Its creator was working to make a stronger adhesive and was initially a flop when sold as press and peel, but saw success when 3M started giving away samples. 3M, okay. I'm gonna go with that. 3M changed my mind. I was on a glue tangent there, and then 3M kind of changed my.
Okay, so I had 2. At first I was thinking like the Elmer's glue, you know, that you peel it off.
I went with tape.
But like, I was also thinking maybe sticky tack.
Like Scotch tape.
Sticky tack, maybe? So
what is our answer, Director Corey? Is it tape?
Post-its.
Post-it notes.
Oh.
That makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
Post-it notes.
All right, not one of my 2.
Now somebody in the YouTube comments is going to be like, these 2 are so dumb. That is today's morning mystery. That's how they sound. These are dumb.
Canada's biggest grocery chains find themselves in a sticky situation after being accused of negligence for allegedly selling watered-down maple syrup in their stores. A class action lawsuit filed in Quebec's Superior Court claims Loblaws, Metro, and Sobeys were betraying their customers' trust for years by selling cans of maple syrup from a producer southwest of Montreal that were allegedly cut with cane sugar, even though they were advertised as being pure. John Deere narrowing its annual profit outlook as a stabilizing agriculture sector points to a more pronounced rebound next year for farm machinery. As we look ahead, we continue to believe 2026 will mark the bottom of the current AG equipment cycle, Deere Chief Executive Officer John May said in a statement on Thursday. And Walmart's quarterly sales fell short of expectations, a rare miss that's likely to stoke concern about the leading big box retailer decelerating alongside a slow-growing U.S. economy. Sales at U.S. stores open at least a year, excluding fuel, rose 2.6% in the second quarter. That rate of growth, hindered in part by pricing pressure in its pharmacy business, is the slowest in more than 6 years. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
All right, travelers, here's that look at your national forecast. If you're heading out to Vancouver today, 26 degrees with that sunshine, 27 in Prince George, 25 in Calgary. We are seeing a risk of some thunderstorms this afternoon there, though. Edmonton up to 24, mainly cloudy, and a little bit more sunshine over in Winnipeg, up to 24 degrees. Over in Toronto now, 23, a high of 24 in Ottawa and Montreal, 26 in Fredericton, Halifax up to 24, but some rain over in St. John's today, up to 18 degrees. Here's a look at your gas prices now. Regina, your average price is $163.9, but you could find it for as low as $152.9. In Saskatoon, your average price $169.9, and you could find it for as low as $159.9. In the farm markets, the street price of canola is at $767.95 per ton. The futures price $819.90 per ton. Amber Durham wheat $276.15 per ton, and red spring wheat $287.80 per ton. And the Canadian dollar is up today. It's now at 72.34 cents U.S. As the Riders prepare to face the BC Lions, a star could be returning to the lineup early. Details when we come back.
Coming up on 7:30 on this Thursday, thank you so much for being with us. My name is Daryl. We begin with industry leaders and businesses still waiting for more details on the trade deal with the U.S.
The minister was very clear. We needed to protect supply management. We needed to ensure that the supply management regime remained entirely intact, and I'm confident that that's the case.
U.S. President Donald Trump has long complained about American access to Canada's supply-managed dairy sector, and he's claiming there's a deal on that too. Also expected to be included in this trade deal is American liquor. Almost every province has banned the sale of U.S. alcohol, minus Saskatchewan, and Prime Minister Mark Carney has now asked the premiers to restock it, but just because it's there doesn't mean Canadians will buy it. A recent poll from Nanos Research for CTV News found 74% of Canadians are now unlikely to purchase American alcohol. The tentative trade deal is expected to be finalized by Friday. Until then, Canada's lead negotiator Janice Charette will remain in Washington, and Dominic LeBlanc is on his way back there. Saskatchewan shoppers looking to save on beef have another option at the grocery store. Some Australian cuts are being sold for less than their Canadian counterparts. Stacey Hine on why and what it means for cattle producers.
Australian beef is showing up as a cheaper option for some cuts on Canadian grocery store shelves. And for some shoppers, prices are catching their eye.
So I bought the strip loins for $13 a pound, which I thought was more than reasonable.
I'm here because ground beef, extra lean ground beef is on sale. And I basically buy beef when it's on sale.
This Australian boneless rib steak is about $11 cheaper per kilogram compared with a Canadian cut. Tyler Fulton, president of the Canadian Cattle Association, says quality is part of the reason for the price difference.
Generally speaking, the Australian production model is a grass-based one with a short grain-fed period on the end. And quite simply, the result is a beef product that typically has a little bit less marbling or fat and generally is not in quite as high a demand.
Fulton says another factor may be retailers taking a loss on the Australian beef in order to bring people into the store. He also says imported beef can help fill short-term gaps in supply as Canada's cattle industry recovers from years of decline. But he doesn't see imports as a major concern for Canadian producers, with the herd now beginning to rebuild.
We're on a great trajectory to build the herd, but it takes time. And so I think there's just an appreciation that there's a short-term need, and Australia fills that.
Fulton adds imports help make sure shoppers still have options at the meat counter. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The lawyer representing a man who egged a Saskatoon synagogue says the incident was not fueled by anti-Semitism. On August 4th, eggs were thrown at the synagogue during the congregation's service. About a week later, 31-year-old Jaden Clark turned himself into police. He's facing 3 charges of mischief. In a statement to CTV News, Clark's lawyer says his client accepts responsibility but makes it clear it was not a hate crime. He describes it as an alcohol-induced foolish act and that the synagogue was a matter of unfortunate timing, not a target. A Jewish advocacy group says intoxication doesn't rule out hateful motivation.
Regardless of inebriation, this was a decision. Mr. Clark chose to attend to the synagogue. He had enough faculties about him to specifically attend to that synagogue and to carry out the vandalism. So I do believe that this needs to be investigated as a hate crime, and I'll leave it up to the authorities to decide whether or not that threshold is met.
Police say they can't comment because it's before the courts. The defense says Clark is working with the Jewish community to make amends. A 3-month investigation has led to fentanyl production and drug trafficking charges in Regina. A search warrant on the 3800 block of East Cormorant Drive led to the seizure of about 1.5 kilograms of unprocessed fentanyl, suspected pure unprocessed fentanyl that could have been produced between 3 and 5 kilos of street fentanyl, other substances used in production, and more than $24,000 in Canadian cash. Police say the seizure prevented more than 50,000 single doses of fentanyl from hitting the streets with an approximate street value of more than $500,000.
This is the first time where we've seen that the actual usable product is produced here. So that's kind of the difference, where we're having drugs that are being transported here and supplied to Regina, versus now we have a raw product that came to Regina and they produced it here in order to make an enormous amount of usable product for the people in Regina that are addicted.
Two men face charges, 33-year-old Evan Drew Silser of Regina and 20-year-old Matthew Johanna of Richmond, BC. They've been charged with various offenses, including production of fentanyl, which is the first time that charge has been laid in Regina. Police also issued a Canada-wide warrant for 20-year-old Cassidy Marie Arsenault on your screen. She's of Burnaby, BC. It's in relation to the investigation. She's wanted on several possession, transport, and trafficking charges under the Controlled Drugs and Substances Act. A former engineering director of Meta testified on Wednesday that CEO Mark Zuckerberg created a culture that may have led the company to shirk responsibility in protecting children on Facebook and Instagram. Arturo Bejar testified that Zuckerberg was closely involved in all decision-making. He is the first witness in the case where 29 states accuse the company of designing platforms to addict young users and illegally collect data from children under 13. Meta denies the allegations and says Bejar's opinions are beyond the scope of his work. Russia has launched a massive aerial attack on Kyiv, killing at least 16. The attack also injured about 40 people. Russia claims it hit a Kyiv industrial site involved in missile production. The assault has alarmed European neighbors and prompted Poland and Romania to activate deep air defenses. Residential buildings and infrastructure have been heavily damaged, including a children's hospital. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is now urging countries to send more air defense interceptors as Ukraine struggles with a shortage. A melanoma vaccine is showing very promising results in its late-stage trial. The innovative skin cancer treatment combines immunotherapy and mRNA technology for vaccines. Companies Merck and Moderna said the treatment results showed, quote, statistically significant and clinically meaningful improvements. The therapy could see a reduction in the risk of melanoma recurrence and could open the door to personalized treatments for other types of cancer. The phase 3 trial is the last stage before seeking regulatory approval, but we're not quite there yet. The companies will present data at an oncology conference and share it with regulators. As the Riders prepare for the second half of the season with a 6-3 record, they could have one of their stars back in the lineup. Here's Donovan Mace.
The site of number 19 at Mosaic Stadium again couldn't come at a better time for the Saskatchewan Roughriders offense.
Feel great, man. Being out for 3 weeks now. Just being back outside with the boys felt amazing.
MLS missing the last 3 games with a foot injury, but is trending toward an early return to the Riders lineup after being a full participant at practice Wednesday for the first time in weeks.
Me being a competitor, I wanted to play, but it was also being smart because it's a long season.
MLS sustaining the injury in Week 8 against the Elks. He went from being a game-time decision in Week 9 to the 6-game injured list the following week as a precaution.
Down inside the 5, and Johnson gets up.
In his absence, the Riders also losing Kean Schaefer-Baker to injury, meaning several young receivers stepped in their place.
It's tough, but thankfully guys stepped up. I missed 3 games. I think we won 2. So guys that had to replace me stepped up, and we kind of see what they can bring to the table.
Those guys have done a good job filling in for them and getting experience. So down the road, if they're ever needed, we know we can count on them.
However, Emilus is eligible to remain on the injured list for at least another 3 games, and even should he return early, 12 other Riders remain on the 6 game.
It's always good to see people back on the field. Like anything, we'll see what that looks like at the end of the week, but it's anytime you have more and more people come back, it's encouraging.
Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
Big question is the weekend. We've got Shake the Lake. It's an outdoor event. Maybe somebody wants to watch a Rider game outside. Can we do it?
Yes. Well, the weekend is actually looking really beautiful, especially the first half of the weekend. Friday and Saturday looking great. Sunday, we are seeing some rain on the radar for both parts of central and southern Saskatchewan. But again, Friday and Saturday looking really nice and clear with a whole lot of sunshine. We're also seeing a lot of sunshine out there to start our Thursday. 12 degrees right now in Regina. Winds coming in at 9 kilometers per hour. In Saskatoon, we're still at 13 degrees. Not quite at that hot spot. That's still up in Buffalo Narrows at 15 degrees. Northwest winds coming in at 15 kilometers per hour. Here's a look at today's wind gusts. We are seeing them going up into the afternoon for some parts of the southeast first, right around Estevan, and then later in the afternoon and into the evening in the southwest corner of the province. Even still, though, when we're talking about those wind gusts going up, we're not really seeing any of those other more severe colors. We're just seeing that blue color, indicating that they're only really going to be going up to about 30 kilometers per hour. Way up north, if you can see at the top of our screen there, into the later part of the afternoon, we do see some yellow creeping in. So we could be seeing them up to about 45 kilometers per hour far up north, not really impacting us down towards the south. Current temperatures, though, we're at 13 degrees now in Stony Rapids. We mentioned Buffalo Narrows as the hot spot. Larange is very close, though. It does come down to those decimal points. 12 degrees in Prince Albert, 12 degrees in Hudson Bay, and 13 degrees in Melfort. Down in the south, a lot of 13s there, 13 in the Battleford, Saskatoon, and Moose Jaw, 12 degrees in Swift Current. Again, East End, close contender for the hot spot this hour, 11 degrees in Assiniboia and 12 degrees in Estevan. Into the afternoon today, really beautiful temperatures. We are likely to be seeing a little bit of rain down south, but not really seeing much in terms of the actual accumulations of rain. If you do start to see a little bit of drizzle outside your door into the afternoon and evening hours, don't worry too much about that. 27 in Swift Current today, 28 in Moose Jaw, 28 in Weyburn, and 27 in Estevan. Again, the potential of seeing some very light drizzle into the later part of the day. 25 in Yorkton today, 27 in Regina, 26 in Saskatoon and Prince Albert, and 25 in the Battlefords. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast now. 25 degrees tomorrow and 27 on Saturday. So again, really sunny and warm start to the weekend. 28 on Sunday, so we're still seeing that warmth, but we do have a chance of rain, risk of some thunderstorms. Temperatures cooling down by middle of next week. In Saskatoon, 25 tomorrow and 28 on Saturday. Again, a nice start to the weekend, but some rain on the way for Sunday, 28 degrees. And then after Sunday, things are cooling off a bit. 23 on Monday, 21 on Tuesday, and 22 by Wednesday.
The Parkinson Canada Spinning Wheels Tour has made a stop in our city. It's bringing together cyclists, families, and advocates to raise awareness and money for impacted people. Phil Rayner is on that journey and in studio with this morning. Phil, thank you so much for spending a couple of minutes with us.
No problem, thank you.
Remind us what Parkinson is for people who may not be aware of the affliction.
Parkinson's is a neurological disease. It's not reversible, but it's good. We found that cycling is very controllable over it.
So now to raise money and awareness, you
Yes,
are on
so-
this journey. You're on the bicycle every day. Where did you start this journey?
We started our journey in Lethbridge, Alberta.
Okay.
On the 15th of August, and then we rode to Medicine Hat.
That's a good journey.
Then Maple Creek, then Swift Current, then Moose Jaw, then Regina today. We got to Regina yesterday.
And you're on your way towards Winnipeg.
We're on our way towards Winnipeg.
The spinning wheels, where did this idea come from, and just how important is it that you get on the bikes and you show that you can still do all of these things that everybody else can do, even battling disorders and things like this?
A group of people decided to ride across. They'd ride across Canada in 2021 because they wanted to ride across, and then they met a group of people, and they found that people were very open to us, and so then they decided to try it again, and then they split it up, and now we have three groups of riders. One group is in the West Coast, another one is we're doing the Prairie provinces, so that's Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, and the third group starts on I think they start next week, early next week. They're starting right along Newfoundland and Prince Edward Island.
How has support been along the way?
Support's been awesome. We've had a lot of people come up to us and say that they've all been touched by it, because generally Parkinson's is the #1 growing disorder in the world right now. And
awareness is a big key of this, and also the money that you're raising. If we want to support you monetarily or come out along the ride and show our support, how do we do that?
You can go to our website, which is spinningwheelstour.ca, and you can either make a donation, or we're looking for support too. We're also our main goal is to make awareness and bring it for the community, so that, because when you get diagnosed, basically the doctor tells you have Parkinson's, take these pills, good luck. So we don't have anywhere to go, nobody to talk to. So at least we're trying to open a community where you can get in touch with somebody that has the Parkinson's community in your area, and they can. We ask us questions, because, as you know, that the doctors just prescribe you, or the doctors diagnose you, but they're not living with it, and they don't have the answers. That small questions.
You got to bring all those people together and offer a little bit of support. Phil, good luck on the rest of your journey. As he said, if you want more information, parkinson.ca. They'll be on the highway towards Winnipeg very soon.
What's happening in our community. The Early Shift Pop-Up Dance for Women is on August 21st, 6 p.m. at the Artesian. Visit earlyshift.ca. The Arcola Roughstock Rodeo is on August 21st, 6:30 p.m. at the Arcola Rodeo Grounds. Email arcolarodeo@gmail.com. The Regina Victory Church Summerfest is on August 22nd, 11 a.m. at 1825 Victoria Avenue East. Visit reginavictory.com. And a craft and trade show is on August 22nd, 2 p.m. at McNaughton Park in Regina. Visit rpcaregina.ca. Submit your event to our community by visiting our website, ctvregina.ca, and click Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen. It's August 20th, and we have these milestones to share with you. We'll start off with a big happy birthday going out to Reed. We hope you have a great birthday. Lots of love from your whole family. Happy birthday to Todd, marking his 55th birthday today. Love and well wishes coming your way from Haley, Heidi, Amy, and Alyssa. Turning 65 years old today is Joe. Happy birthday to you. A ton of love from your kids and your grandkids. And a big happy birthday going out to Fred. He's marking his 90th today. Congrats on this new milestone. With love from Bill, Kim, Wendy, and family.
Milestones, brought to you by Harbor Landing Village, an award-winning senior care and living community in Regina.
If you have a milestone coming up, send us an email to yourmorningsaskatchewan@ctv.ca or simply scan that QR code on your screen. Please send those in at least one day in advance.
This morning, the children of late movie legend Robin Williams aren't just protecting their father's legacy.
I ask you about love, probably quote me a sonnet.
They're fighting back against what they call AI abuse. Zach, Zelda, and Cody Williams reactivated his Instagram account, fed up with the alleged AI misuse involving their dad's likeness, writing, "As technology evolves, we want this to be a safe, trusted place where the stories, photos, videos, and memories shared reflect his legacy with authenticity, warmth, and care."
They just said they've had enough, and it's time to really take a look at AI and how people are exploiting their dad's memory and his legacy.
Fussy, you do Martha Graham.
The beloved actor's daughter Zelda has spoken out previously against AI-generated posts like these. Now the family is reviving the account to share authentic and entertaining moments of their dad.
The water's boiling. Hello!
Zelda calling it one of the best ways we've now found to fight back against rampant AI abuse of his voice and likeness on here. AI use has been a controversial topic in Hollywood, especially for celebrities who want to maintain control of their image. Taylor Swift and Matthew McConaughey have both recently taken action to blunt themselves from AI-generated content misuse, filing trademarks for their names and iconic catchphrases.
All right. Oh, Christ. How you doing?
But others have embraced the rapidly evolving technology. Val Kilmer, who passed away last year, starring in the upcoming film As Deep as the Grave, his performance entirely AI-generated.
Don't fear the dead, and don't fear me.
Producers say it was made with the support of his family, who provided images and videos of Kilmer throughout his life.
I think the top consideration is what is it being used for? And then, of course, there's money. You know, these AI companies have a lot of money. And I think also, what does using their likeness in an AI production after their death, how does it affect their legacy, their memory?
Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
Normally you come up before the entertainment report, which leads me to believe that you were busy combing through the Guinness Book of World Records for another event to try.
You know what? There's been a couple that I've attempted in there. The one previous to the Slinky, actually, I tried to remove as many bottle caps as I could with my foot in a certain amount of time. That was even further than the Slinky. So we'll continue. We'll get there at some point. Maybe the most failed attempts. That has to be a record in there. We're edging closer and closer to that one. Or maybe we'll just stick with country music. Lots going on here today. Post Malone getting engaged. We'll let you know the details there. Kenny Chesney was taken to court by a woman who was scammed by someone pretending to be Kenny Chesney, and then she took the real one to court saying he should have helped her. You can probably guess how that court case ended. And more performers added to the CCMAs as we're about a month out now from the award show in Saskatoon.
Yeah, we're going to tell you who those performers are coming up in the 8 o'clock news. Thank you so much, Chase.
Thanks, Daryl.
We start with something deliciously funny.
And I'm a creep. I'm a widow.
The caption really sells it. Weirdo.
Yeah.
The Waffle House in Dublin is parodying Radiohead's hit I'm a Creep with its battered breakfast item. The thin pancake has become quite popular with fans in real life and online, racking up 6 million views and counting for this.
I mean, it's creative.
It is.
Yeah. I like
Start
it.
serving breakfast that way at my house.
Well, we all know kids say the darndest things, and sometimes it's about the weird things they've done.
Yesterday, I opened the frog's mouth and pulled a bug out.
Bug out?
Yeah.
Of what?
Of a frog's mouth.
The frog.
Confidence, hey?
Yep.
Up a frog's mouth.
You heard that right. This is 3-year-old Halston telling her mom that she took a bug out of a frog's mouth. During that conversation, to her mom's disbelief, she calmly explains that the bug was too big for the frog's mouth and she needed to take it out so the frog didn't choke. At least she knows the dangers of choking.
That is wonderful. Also, was it a real frog or,
yeah.
or a toy frog?
Can we get some clarification here from Halston?
I think I'm okay with it if it's a fake frog and a real bug.
I'm okay with it if
point.
it's somebody else's kid.
Yeah, wash your hands after that. Here's proof that sometimes you take pride in your work and people will notice.
Wow. Oh my God.
This couple must have been the first people into this grocery store to notice everything was perfectly front-facing and perfectly stacked, and anybody who's got a level of OCD like maybe I do would appreciate
Yes.
the consistency here.
Yes, I think this is beautiful.
Look, let's just drink it in as we go to break. It's Thursday, August 20th.
It was a good discussion. The Prime Minister and I had an opportunity to update our cabinet colleagues.
A trade deal between Canada and the U.S. is said to be on the way to being finalized. The details still few and far between.
It's believed that this seizure prevented well over 50,000 single doses of illicit fentanyl fentanyl from being distributed on the streets of Regina.
3-month-long investigation has led to fentanyl production and drug trafficking charges in Regina.
It's a fun activity that will be engaging for a lot of our residents, creating those memories from like their past times going out camping. So just wanting to recreate some of those past memories they have.
And the Regina Seniors residents hosting summer camp. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. Good morning. Happy Thursday.
This looks like a great weekend to be outside doing all those things like Shake the Lake and watching games on the patio and all that.
Friday and Saturday across Saskatchewan looking clear from any of that rain. We're going to be seeing a lot of sunshine and wonderful temperatures.
We got some back to school must-haves coming up later this hour, but first we got to get to your news. Industry leaders and businesses are still waiting on more detail with the U.S. trade deal.
Prime Minister was very clear. We needed to protect supply management. We needed to ensure that the supply management regime remained entirely intact, and I'm confident that that's the case.
President Donald Trump has long complained about American access to Canada's supply-managed dairy sector, and he's claiming there's a deal on that, too. Also expected to be included in this trade deal is American liquor. Almost every province but ours in Alberta have banned the sale of U.S. alcohol. The Prime Minister now says he's asked the premiers to restock American booze. Just because it's there doesn't mean that Canadians will buy it. A recent poll from Nanos Research for CTV News found that 74% of Canadians are now unlikely to purchase American alcohol. The tentative agreement is expected to be finalized by tomorrow. Until then, the lead negotiator is there and Dominic LeBlanc is on his way back. Premier of our province sharing his thoughts on the trade deal, saying that the fine details are still being worked out, but it is good for Saskatchewan, Canada, and the world. CTV News has learned tariffs in Canadian sectors like steel and aluminum are being reduced as part of that agreement with the U.S. While these tariffs have only affected roughly 5% of Saskatchewan's economy, Mo says the status quo was not possible and negotiators had to find the best path forward.
You need to make every effort to come to a trade agreement with your largest trading partner. Should they move away from this deal in a month or 3 months or 6 months, that is beyond the control of myself or Prime Minister Carney or anyone in Canada for that matter.
Meanwhile, House Leader for the Conservative Party and Regina Capel MP Andrew Scheer gave his thoughts on the potential trade agreement, saying he hopes the federal government is able to reduce those tariffs to zero after the Prime Minister said he'd promised a better deal.
Sounds like Canada has given up, Mark Carney's given away quite a few concessions. If he comes back with a deal that includes no tariffs on Canadian manufacturing, steel and aluminum, then obviously we'd be supportive of that.
Our full interview is available right now on our website and YouTube channel. SpaceX has released a remarkable video of a Starship rocket after 24 days stranded at sea. The 52-meter-long rocket splashed down intact in the Indian Ocean on July 24th following its latest test flight. Rough seas threatened to prevent its recovery, but SpaceX has now towed it to calmer waters near Christmas Island, Australia. The rocket will be transported to Texas now for further analysis. New speed cameras are being installed in Saskatchewan. If you got a lead foot or you know somebody who does, make sure they know this. This one is being put up. It was yesterday, Circle Drive in Saskatoon between College and Attridge Drives. The new cameras are mounted on poles, so they're getting rid of those camera boxes that we're so used to. No new locations are being added, and fines will stay the same. The new cameras are a result of a new contract with a new vendor. SGI did not give a date as to when all those cameras will be installed, but says service will begin very soon. During the summer months, most kids are hanging out with friends, going to camp, or maybe cycling around the neighborhood. But as Virginia Decloux tells us, a girl from Melville is focusing all her energy on a successful fundraiser.
Almost 2 months since 2 RCMP officers were injured in a shooting in Melville, community efforts to help haven't slowed down. One of the people lending a hand is 10-year-old Hedley Polk.
I'm selling bracelets. All the money that I'll make is going towards the injured officers.
She comes from a family of RCMP officers and is close with the Mounties who were shot, so she didn't hesitate when it came to support.
She actually spent time in Regina with the officers, and she sat with one of them from the day after it happened until he initially got to come home. So she got right to work when she got home.
Hadley's bracelets debuted at the fundraiser organized by Melville firefighters in July.
She raised over $4,000 at the initial fundraiser, so then she came home and made about 200, 300 more bracelets, and she just kept going.
Her venture is proving widely popular, with both Melville residents and visitors stopping by her booth to donate.
I was expecting like a couple hundred, but then, well, now I'm just kind of at 8,000.
And then I see Hadley and their family doing all this. I'm like, I need to donate. He's a great part of the community, and I think it's really important to me that we're raising this money for him and Dave.
As the community rallies behind the two officers, Hadley knows that she's helping make a difference. She says from the hundreds of bracelets Hadley's made, some have made their way back to one of the officers they are meant to support.
I think one of them is very proud of me. He even wears some of my bracelets around, and he doesn't take it off now.
One day, her mother says, Hadley may follow in her family's footsteps and join the RCMP herself. And for now, she continues to serve her community through art. Fruzina Declut, CTV News, Melville.
Well, Treaty 6 is about to mark a major milestone. To mark the occasion, a Saskatchewan group has embarked on a special journey. Jasmine Pelche reports.
This weekend will mark 150 years since the signing of Treaty 6, and one group is commemorating the milestone in a big way.
Back when our treaties were signed, they had to travel to get to Fort Carlton, and that didn't happen in one day. A trail that we took here is the original trail that our ancestors traveled to Fort Carlton to go sign treaties.
On Monday, a convoy of lance runners and horseback riders of all ages departed from James Smith Cree Nation for a 4-day trek across central Saskatchewan all the way to Fort Carlton, with participants from neighboring First Nations communities joining along the way. CTV joined the riders Monday afternoon.
It's a very important day to us, and you can see that the grandfathers gave us good weather today on our 4-day trip to Fort Carlton from James Smith.
So I guess, are you having fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you like the most about this?
Horses.
The purpose of the ride is to promote healing, peace, cultural resilience, and to honor historical events.
A lot of us are working hard to make sure that our treaties are still alive and well today, and it just signifies our unity ride, signifies the importance that that we feel that all treaty people should hold close to their heart.
Anyone who wants to is invited to join.
We're not going to say no to anybody. If you're willing to walk, run, come and help us. You know, we need more the merrier.
The group will end up at Fort Carlton just in time for a commemorative gathering that begins Thursday and continues through the weekend.
So it's going to be very unique for us and be an honor, you know, to see our youth participate in that.
Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Birch Hills.
A nonprofit in Regina is exploring the opportunity for youth to build and later live in newly developed homes in the city's north central neighborhood. Sierra D'Souza Butts with the plans.
Growing Young Movers aims to eliminate gaps for youth within Regina's north central community.
If we give opportunities to people that maybe have more barriers than others and are dealing with more challenges than many in this city, they will flourish.
As part of their mission, the nonprofit plans to develop a Building Futures Collective hub to support youth employment, neighborhood revitalization, and future housing construction.
Having an opportunity to teach the trades and get young people potentially building and renovating homes is just another opportunity. It's another opportunity to grow and think maybe that's a pathway for me as a career, but it's also allowing young people to have a safe space to live.
In support of the project, Regina Executive Committee unanimously approved transferring the property located on 1202 Ritalik Street from the Saskatchewan Housing Corporation to the city to provide the land for Growing Young Movers.
The work that Growing Young Movers is doing is a core part of North Central revitalization. And I think this is a great a piece of momentum that we can use and a group that we can leverage to help do more of this, where we partner with community.
The committee also recommends the City of Regina allocate $300,000 from its Housing Accelerator Fund, which is designated for North Central revitalization.
They want to see their community thrive, and so I think as a city, it's an opportunity for us to lean into that and to work together and partner with groups like that, and this is a great step forward in that.
Growing Young Movers says this is the first step towards supporting youth from the North Central area for decades to come. Final approval for the purchase of the property will be presented to Regina City Council next Wednesday. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
The star-studded lineup of performers at the CCMAs in Saskatoon just got longer.
I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got guns in my head.
Multi-platinum alt-folk band The Strumbellas will hit the stage at the CCMAs at SaskTel Centre in Saskatoon on September 19th. They'll be joined by Thelma and James, Nate Huller, High Valley, and Tennille Towns. You can see the awards right here on CTV Saskatchewan. We'll have coverage from the red carpet and all the fun stuff all around it coming up in the middle of September. First, we get over to Kayleen Sawatsky in the Weather Centre to talk about some clear skies.
Yeah, things are looking pretty good to start off the day. We do have a new hot spot this hour. East End has dethroned Buffalo Narrows, so it is warming up out there. 16 degrees to wake you up in Regina. Winds coming in at 7 kilometers per hour, and we're also seeing some sunshine through Saskatoon this morning. We're starting to see a lot of those clouds from earlier on clear. We're at 15 degrees and winds coming in at 17 kilometers per hour. Here's a look at that radar and satellite. So we did see some precipitation overnight and into early this morning. It pushed off late last night just east of Prince Albert and Saskatoon, and then this morning we saw that system making its way very slowly into the southwest corner of the province. We're also going to continue seeing some of that rain into the afternoon, but it's not going to be a whole lot. A lot of these places where you're seeing lighting up in green, we're still registering those numbers at either 1 millimeter or below. Earlier we were saying about around Moose Jaw could be getting about 2 millimeters, but that number seems to be going down the more we look at it. Those numbers can often change though. Now, into Friday, later on in the morning and into the afternoon even, things are looking very clear. We're not seeing a lot of rain falling in the province. We're also not seeing a lot of cloud cover. So Friday is going to be a beautiful day across the province. Also into Saturday afternoon, we see a little bit more of that cloud cover moving into the southwest, but not really seeing a whole lot for active weather. Here's a look at that total rainfall we were just talking about. So that number now is sitting at 1 millimeter expected for Moose Jaw. So although we did just see a bunch of areas lighting up in green on our screen, again, it's going to be very light drizzle today for all those places. Now with that, we are going to be seeing some sunshine today if you're not getting that very light drizzle. 25 degrees in the Battlefords today, 26 in Prince Albert, 26 in Saskatoon, 25 in Yorkton, 27 in Regina, 28 in Moose Jaw today, 27 in Swift Current, and 29 degrees expected in Weyburn. A beautiful day there. Estevan up to 27 degrees with mainly sunny skies. Here's a look at that 5-day forecast. Again, temperatures looking really great, right around or slightly above that average. 25 tomorrow with all that sunshine, 27 on Saturday. We are seeing the potential of some rain in some parts of central and southern Saskatchewan on Sunday. In Regina, that's coming with a risk of some thunderstorms, 28 degrees. 26 on Monday, mainly seeing that sunshine. 25 tomorrow in Saskatoon, 28 on Saturday. Sunday, the forecast has been fluctuating, as we know, in the past few days. Now we are seeing the chance of some rain on Sunday afternoon, 28 as the high with that, 23 on Monday with a mix of sun and cloud.
Let's find out what happened on this day in history. 1970, two F3 force tornadoes killed 6 people and injured 200 others in northern Ontario. August 20th, 1998, the Supreme Court of Canada rules that Quebec cannot legally cede from Canada without the federal government's approval. And August 20th, 2004, Canadian gymnast Karen Coburn won silver in the women's trampoline event at the Athens Games.
Well, in case you missed it, now's your chance to own a piece of Toronto World Cup history.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, there are 50 of these beaver sculptures about to go up for auction. I know
great.
you've always wanted a beaver sculpture.
Who hasn't? Yes.
Yeah. They were stationed around Old Town Toronto during the FIFA World Cup. Each one is hand-painted by a local artist and represents a team that competed. Proceeds will benefit Toronto's first post office and Kids Sport Ontario. Bidding is open until August 24th. What are you going to start your bidding at?
Well, it depends what the Norwegian one is going for. I haven't seen it yet. I want to make sure it's pretty.
I mean, I've never thought,
Not
hey,
that
I
one.
want to
Don't
own
want
a
that
beaver
one.
sculpture, but they are pretty. Oh, look at the
That one's
Canadian
nice.
one.
That one's
beautiful.
nice. That one's going to go for the most money, though. You got to get an off country.
Hey.
One of the lesser wanted. Oh, Brazil looks nice.
Piece of history. I love it.
There you go. Hopefully it comes with a lifetime supply of maple syrup. You know what, I was just thinking producer Nathan would buy one of those and then he would station it all around his house to scare his lovely girlfriend, or all around the studio to scare us.
Yeah, because he's
just
a
Just
prankster.
a little jump scare.
Yesterday, shout out to producer Nathan, I left the room to take one phone call. I came back, my laptop was taped shut with like 24 pieces of tape.
I was conducting an interview and you sent emails from my computer.
I did do that, yeah.
That happens. It's a running
Sometimes
gag we
I
have here.
impersonate him.
Running gag we have here. In our question of the day, that's one minor inconvenience I'd like to remove from my everyday life on this National Mosquito Day.
Hey, maybe close your laptop when you walk
that's a
away
good
from
idea.
it.
That's fair.
Okay, Tiffany's saying, I say ants, my grandparents say me. Corey from Bullier, this one's not minor though. We have some conditions here, and she says, my inconvenience is I'd want to get rid of the body pain. You have no idea what I would give to be able to go through a day of chores or work with no pain. I don't think that one's minor at all.
That's a major inconvenience.
Yeah. Nadine saying wasps, ants, hot flashes, and belly fat, to name just a few.
How about pop-ups on your computer, or that annoying alert that right before you start doing something says you have to force restart your computer? Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah,
Oh
or
my
like
gosh.
sometimes we need a special code to get into our computers in the morning.
Yes.
And I
the
always forget my
double
code.
and triple authentication that sends to your phone, and then you got to scan a code.
Yeah, why are scammers trying to get? I do not want two-factor authentication.
Nobody wants into my Sport Check account.
Going to work, KP says. Lori saying, yes, I would get rid of laundry. Oh, it just takes so long. Get rid of taxes, Larry said.
Well, this is interesting because we have a producer who is originally from Nigeria, and she said she came to Canada and she was told she had to do her taxes. She's like, what? Why doesn't the government just do that? The government does that.
Yes.
In a lot of other countries.
I mean, they should just do it for us. Yeah, figure it out.
Figure it out. We're back after this.
For today's edition of Charity Connections, powered by Saskatchewan Community Foundation, we're introducing you to the Autism Resource Centre. We're joined by Angela Ricci and Victor Roman Morrow for more. Good morning and welcome to you both.
Good morning.
Angela, I'm going to come over to you first. Can you just start by introducing us to the Autism Resource Centre and what you do for the community?
The Autism Resource Centre is a nonprofit that's been serving the autistic community in Regina for over 50 years. And we have over 20 programs and services that help autistic individuals just live a richer life, a more independent life, helping them cope and get through the day-to-day things that we all do.
Some absolutely amazing things that you do for the community. Victor, how did this partnership come to be?
You know, I think we've been tied, the Community Foundation's been tied to Autism Resource Centre, as we are, hundreds of charities around the province. And there's been a lot of growth at our foundation in the last couple of years of really just outreach to charities, showing that it's not just a place that they can apply to for certain grants. There's a lot of other ways to take advantage of the investments and things like that through the Community Foundation. So I don't want to speak for Angela, but it sounds like when we were talking in the back, it was a bit of a no-brainer to try to move things over to us and create some funds to really help their sustainability. And we're always happy and proud to help charities in that way.
And I would have to assume that these funds have made such a difference for you at the Autism Resource Centre. Can you explain how?
Well, of course, the demand for services and most nonprofits is growing. So for us, knowing that our money is safe, invested properly, that we're going to have, interest growing on them so that we can put them back into programs and services is just very important. And all nonprofits are not only looking for funding and donations, but we're also responsible for the money we have and how it grows and how we use it. So that's how the foundation is helping us.
So it's great that you do have community help from the Saskatchewan Community Foundation. Of course, there's also other ways that people can help you. How would you encourage people to get involved?
So, like, for example, we have a walk on August 29th, and we open it up to the community, and it's just a way for us to advocate for autism. But also, we go to employers in the city asking if there's some jobs or openings that maybe they would be interested in hiring somebody with autism, and we're there to help job coach and support that. And then, just looking at what we're doing throughout the year. You know, Autism Month is in April. We have events throughout the city, and anything people can do to advocate for autism, and just keep that in mind that, you know, these are people who want to be part of and actively involved in our community.
Absolutely, and thank you for everything that the Autism Resource Centre does do for our community. A wonderful partnership, and that's all for today's edition of Charity Connections, powered by the Saskatchewan Community Foundation. Thank you.
Thanks.
Mike Siona on location for us this morning. He is at the show home. Mike, what's going on?
Well, one more time with Jerry Lynn Johnston and Amy right here talking all about the final deadline, which is tomorrow night at midnight in the Stars Lottery. Some absolutely incredible prizes, including this beautiful grand prize show home, and there's one equally brilliant in Regina.
Yeah, we have two beautiful dream homes, one here in Saskatoon and one in White City, valued at just close to $2.9, almost $3 million. And we have a total of 1,600 prizes, overall value $4 million. So amazing opportunity to win a prize, and your chance at buying a ticket is a chance at saving a life.
No doubt. Now, Amy, we spoke earlier, heard your story. Just talk to me about, a couple of years now removed from that harrowing experience, just how grateful you are to have Stars here.
It's unbelievable. Stars keeps families together. That it's that simple. Without it, there are children, there are dads, there are moms who aren't with us anymore. And if we can save one life, like Jerry Lynn said, it's just incredible. I have a son who lives his life, very full life. He's very lucky for his outcome, and Stars made his outcome better for him. So it's unbelievable, and I know several people throughout the province that have been touched by Stars and have had the benefit of having Stars, and it doesn't matter where you live, rural, urban, it doesn't matter. Stars will impact your life at some point in time, so that support is incredible.
No doubt about it. Truly is the lottery that we all win, and I mean, people are going to win some incredible prizes, but only if you get your tickets before midnight tomorrow night. sk.starslottery.ca is where you go.
Get those tickets, can't win without one.
GLP-1s have been hailed as miracle drugs, helping people lose weight, control their diabetes, and even showing benefits for our hearts.
At this point, it's just the fact that it has improved other areas of my life that I'm just not in a hurry to stop.
Now this morning, researchers are examining an even bigger question. Could they also slow the way we age?
There's only one way to find out.
For centuries, we've searched for the fountain of youth, the holy grail of medicine, a quest brought to life in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
You have chosen wisely.
The University of Texas Medical Branch in Galveston is leading one of the first clinical trials examining whether terzepatide, the active ingredient in Zepbound, can affect biological aging.
Ultimately hope that our research will show that we slow biologic aging by 10 to 15%. We think there's a lot of people taking GLP-1s. Wait till we prove that it also slows your aging process. Everybody's going to want to take a GLP-1.
Their trial will follow adults 55 to 70 who already qualify for weight loss treatment, measuring biological age markers, inflammation, thinking, strength, and mobility. Early findings from another study are adding to the interest.
And this was really kind of the first look to say, hey, in this scenario, which has a lot of limitations, there essentially was a signal here that warranted kind of future study.
UC San Diego School of Medicine and Case Western University are analyzing blood from 84 adults with HIV and an abnormal buildup of body fat. After 32 weeks, those receiving semaglutide, the active ingredient in Ozempic and Wegovy, showed changes consistent with slower aging on several DNA-based aging clocks. So what does that actually mean for living longer?
In terms of living longer, these are kind of the studies that need to be conducted further in terms of looking at rigorous clinical trial designs with a particular aging focus.
Perry Russum, ABC News.
Health Report, brought to you in part by SEIU West, Saskatchewan's first healthcare union.
Welcome back. It's 8:30. There are some new developments involving an egging at a Saskatoon synagogue. The lawyer representing the accused says the incident was not fueled by anti-Semitism, but as CTV's Laura Woodward reports, the Jewish community wants the motivation to be closely investigated.
The lawyer representing a man involved in egging a Saskatoon synagogue says the incident was not fueled by hate. On August 4th, Jaden Clark threw eggs at the Congregation Agudas Israel synagogue and vehicles in the parking lot. About a week later, the 31-year-old man from Dundurn turned himself into police. He's been charged with 3 counts of mischief. His lawyer, Brian Pfefferly, says Clark accepts responsibility. Quote, he wants to be clear that it was not motivated by hatred, anti-Semitism, or hostility toward the Jewish community. The location was a matter of unfortunate timing, not targeted animus. Pfefferly says the egging was alcohol-induced and foolish, and Clark can now see the genuine fear he caused.
More needs to be done to uncover the intent.
Jewish advocacy group B'nai B'rith wants Clark's motivation to be closely examined.
Regardless of inebriation, this was a decision. Mr. Clark chose to attend to the synagogue. He had enough faculties about him to specifically attend to that synagogue and to carry out the vandalism. So I do believe that this needs to be investigated as a hate crime, and I'll leave it up to the authorities to decide whether or not that threshold is met.
Police say it can't comment as the matter is now before the courts. Any evidence that an offense was motivated by prejudice, bias, or hate can be considered during sentencing. Saskatoon police data shows the number of anti-Jewish hate incidents doubled from 5 in 2024 to 10 in 2025. The defense says Clark has reached out to the Jewish community to make amends. His first court appearance is scheduled September 16th. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Next, Mick Favel takes you to one of the most unique tourist attractions in southern Saskatchewan.
This cliff overseeing a scenic area in southern Saskatchewan is filled with petroglyphs made hundreds of years ago. Now, thanks to carbon-14 testing and some digging, it's becoming more clear when people possibly first set foot here.
We sent away material from a 10 to 20 centimeter level, and we got a date back of the year 900 AD. And then the other one was at 50 centimeters down, and that one dated at 120 BC.
For generations, there have been questions as to who made the petroglyphs. According to one find, it likely was a meetup spot for tribes from all directions.
When you're dealing with maybe 7 different varieties of pottery, all coming out of one washout, that tells you that somewhere at some time, everybody from all these different pottery makers showed up here.
The St. Victor petroglyphs are a protected site, now a part of a provincial historic park. Linda Benson is bringing her friend Janice McCrum to see the carvings for the first time and to experience one of Saskatchewan's most glorious viewpoints.
Just a very spiritual place, which I think that's what the petroglyphs are all about. Yeah.
Very spiritual.
So very lovely, especially coming from the city, believe me, it's an overwhelming experience.
We have a human foot on the far side, and a tiny human foot sitting there.
Monroe has been giving tours of this site for 40 years. Over that time, many petroglyphs have been found. Some can only be seen with the right lighting.
If you come in April, you get a different sunlight. May is different, right through to the end of September. The light hits them at a different angle, and suddenly one pops out you haven't seen for a couple of years. So that's the excitement of the whole site.
Animals, people, teepees, footprints, all reflections of life for Indigenous peoples before first contact. Over 360 petroglyphs have been found at the site, along with a number of artifacts now housed at the museum down the road. A place always open to sharing one of Saskatchewan's unique wonders. Mick Favel, CTV News, St. Victor Petroglyphs.
Your Saskatchewan Roughriders could get a boost to their receiving core.
And in business here early in the second quarter. Fake left, caught, touchdown, Samuel Emelis.
Sam Emelis was a full participant at practice yesterday for the first time in 3 weeks after suffering an injury in week 8.
It's tough, but thankfully guys stepped up. I missed 3 games. I think we won 2. So guys that had to replace me stepped up, and we kind of see what they can bring to the table, and that's big for the long run.
It's always good to see people back on the field. Like anything, we'll see what that looks like at the end of the week. But it's anytime you have more and more people come back, it's encouraging.
The Riders take on BC on Saturday. For some people, yoga is all about finding your inner peace. But one farm east of Saskatoon says it's also about keeping up with a few fluffy distractions. Here's Carla Shinkarak.
Plant your hands, step to plank.
This may look like a regular yoga class, but thanks to a few dozen fuzzy distractions, it's anything but.
As you watch their little noses wiggle and their ears, there is a joy that rises up from within you because they are so cute.
For instructor Alicia Iwanchuk, the bunnies add a special type of zen.
A lot of people aren't coming to bunny yoga to get the whole zen yoga experience, but it is getting them in their body and it is bringing joy into their life.
There are a few repeat customers, but many people are hopping into their very first bunny yoga class.
Just thought it would be a fun summer thing to do. Beautiful evening. Love animals. Why not?
I don't do any yoga. This is the second time I did it this week, just because it's such a great experience.
As for many of them, it's worth the half-hour drive east of the city.
Bunny yoga sounds incredible. I took my husband on a date night, so we're just doing some exercise.
The idea came from the owner of Wander's Tiny Farm, who started the interactive petting farm 5 years ago.
I happened to see somebody posting a picture of herself doing yoga, like a yoga pose here on the farm on a big tire, and we started chatting, and we decided to start doing bunny yoga.
People come from all over the province to take in the class, which is in its 3rd season. And while bunnies can bite, he hasn't had any issues, but it is on his mind.
I'm mostly concerned about my bunnies going after very expensive Lululemon yoga mats.
He moved to Saskatchewan from the Netherlands 11 years ago and had a dream to run a farm. Now hundreds of people visit each year.
Take it off the mat. Do not kick a bunny.
And for these visitors, they get in a little workout while the bunnies are just busy doing what they do best, creating some hoppy vibes. Carla Shinkarak, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Carla gets all those tough assignments. The beaches shook the lake in Regina last night.
I'm not sexy. Come on, Regina.
The reigning Juno Group of the Year kicked things off at Shake the Lake at the Connexus Arts Center. Fans get a rest day today, I think, and then Friday, Saturday, you'll see legendary bands like Sugar Ray, Smash Mouth, Honeymoon Suite, and more. There are still select tickets available at the box office. Great part about an outdoor venue, Kayleen, you can always fit a couple more people back in.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like they put a great show on.
Yeah, they have front row. Boss's wife was front row.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I was in bed asleep.
I'm jealous that you were asleep.
All right, let's turn our attention over to the morning view. It's brought to you by Stars Lottery, your ticket fund's life-saving care across Saskatchewan. Right now in Regina, what a beautiful start to the day. 16 degrees, winds are fairly calm, only coming in at 7 kilometers per hour. We are seeing quite a bit of cloud cover right now. Don't worry, we are also going to be seeing a lot of sunshine into the afternoon. 15 degrees in Saskatoon, winds coming in at 17 kilometers per hour. We're not going to be seeing those going up all too much throughout central Saskatchewan today. They will be increasing far down south, though. And again, a lot of sunshine right now to start the day. Today's wind gusts, as we mentioned, they will be going up down south. It's going to start in the southeast corner of the province around Estevan, winds gusting up to about 30-35 kilometers per hour. And then later on into the evening hours, could be seeing that down through the southwest as well. Other than that, through central Saskatchewan, winds are going to be remaining fairly low today. A pretty calm day. Current temperatures now, we're seeing 15 degrees in Stony Rapids, 16 in Buffalo Narrows, 17 in L'Orange, 15 in Prince Albert right now, and 16 in Melfort. Down in the south, more of that warmth, 17 degrees already in Moose Jaw, 16 in Swift Current, and the hot spot continues to be East End this hour at 19 degrees already, 15 over in Estevan. Here's a look at that forecast for your afternoon. Temperatures still a little bit warmer down south, 29 degrees in Weyburn, 27 in Estevan and Regina today, 27 as well in Swift Current, and 28 in Moose Jaw. Throughout central Saskatchewan, closer to that seasonal average, slightly above those. though, especially in Saskatoon, up to 26 degrees, 25 in the Battlefords, 26 in Prince Albert, and 25 in Yorkton. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast now. So things are looking really good for the start of your weekend. 25 on Sunday with that sunshine, or 25 on Friday rather, 27 on Saturday, 28 on Sunday. That is the day we're seeing the chance of rain, risk of some thunderstorms. 26 by Monday, 23 on Tuesday, and 23 on Wednesday. In Saskatoon, we've been talking about that chance of some rain on Sunday fluctuating a little bit. At first, we were saying the rain was coming, and then the radar shifted, and we saw it more so overnight into the day on Monday. Now it is back. We could still be seeing some of that rain falling on Sunday afternoon. A really nice temperature, though. 25 tomorrow, 28 on Saturday and Sunday. And then temperatures really do fall off a bit after Sunday, down to 23 on Monday, 21 on Tuesday with mainly sunny skies, and 22 degrees on Wednesday with a bit more of that cloud cover moving in. Well, back to school season is almost here, and getting a few simple routines in place now can make that transition a whole lot easier. Educator and host of the Juggle is Real podcast, Andriana Gonco, is here with some ways to help families reset for fall. Welcome.
Hello, Kaylee. Yes, you're right. We are getting back into the routine, and I always say the best place to start is Command Central, and that is the kitchen, right? Because we've got our breakfast to go, we've got lunches to pack, we've got meal prep, we've got activities, all of those things. And so those routines can make the biggest difference, as well as smart appliances that help you stay on track. And that's really why I love my Whirlpool appliances, because they have technology that doesn't just keep up, but actively optimizes our days and helps us kind of just perform as a family, right? I have to share, this is the new Whirlpool dishwasher with spin and load rack and AI intelligent wash. So neat. It's the first and only dishwasher on the market. Has that 360-degree spinning lower rack. So you know what? You just spin the rack and bring it within reach. Makes unloading and loading the dishwasher so much easier. And I am a huge fan of the sensor cycle because it's taking the guesswork out of it. The AI intelligent wash, it has those sensors so that you can actually determine what's in the dishwasher, how dirty the dishes are, the temperature of the water, all of those things. And it's really helping you, pay attention to what else matters because of that smart technology. So you can learn more at whirlpool.ca.
Awesome. All right. Now, what's an important back-to-school routine parents might not necessarily think about, but it's still important?
Yes, and I share this because I learned the hard way, and that is to put eye health on the checklist. Now, the CNIB, the Canadian National Institute for the Blind, is reminding Canadian families that the most important thing on our back to school list isn't necessarily found in the school supply aisle. It is that comprehensive eye exam, because up to 80% of learning in classrooms is visual, which is so shocking. So that if your child is struggling with low vision, well, they're going to be struggling with their learning, but also their confidence and their development and overall well-being. And we did learn this with our oldest firsthand because he was struggling and he really needed glasses. Early detection matters. Many common eye conditions can be successfully treated before the age of 7. So make sure, as you're doing all of the things, add that comprehensive eye exam on your list for back to school. And you can also visit cnib.ca/back to school for all of the resources and programs and advocacy that CNIB does for families in Canada.
All right, 30 seconds left, but quickly, what's one simple thing families can do now to make those first few weeks feel a little less hectic?
Yes, we are going to do the dress rehearsal and our routine rehearsal. I love to use these visual charts for the morning, after school, and evening. Makes things so much easier. You can get them on my website, but really you're helping to take those first day jitters out of the mix, those nerves, by practicing a few days in advance. So get that underway and get practicing.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And as she just mentioned, you can head on over to her website for all those tools to help you out.
Thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. Mark Rowe inside the SportsCenter newsroom with your must-see moment from Wednesday to 4. We're going to head to Minnesota with the Twins taking on the Braves. Bottom 2, it's Cody Clemens, who hits one to shallow left field. And check out Austin Riley, who goes all out and makes the outstanding catch. Riley reaching out with his glove to take away a hit from Clemens. That web jam earns your must-see moment from Wednesday. And Thursday on TSN, it's Week 12 in the CFL, kicking off with the Red Blacks visiting the Alouettes. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. That's all from the SportsCenter newsroom. Have a great day.
Well, Welcome to Dakota Dunes Golf Resort. We are very happy today to be here with Nota Begay III. He is a 4-time PGA champion, an NCAA champion, a philanthropist, a broadcaster. He's got a lot of things on his plate. So, Yate.
Yate, yeah. Thank you for greeting me in my traditional Dene Navajo language. It's wonderful to be here. Last time I was here was about 12 years ago, and a lot has changed. The course is still as beautiful as it was back then, but a lot of expansion, a lot of job opportunities for people in the province, and it's great to host our Western National Junior Championship here. We make the emphasis on access. We try and open up opportunities for all golfers. There's no membership fees. There's no resumes required. So you simply need to sign up, have a certain level of play. To get into an event like this, you have to qualify. But it's open to pretty much anybody that has a set of clubs and wants to come out and compete. And I think that's the best way to grow the game. And we have over 10,000 participants throughout the year between the U.S. and Canada. And we're really trying to grow more junior golf here in this nation, because there's a lot of talented young golfers, and there's a lot of Division I college teams that need good golfers in America.
I'm wearing my Stanford red today because we were talking to you. Your team, in particular, was very diverse at a time when maybe golf wasn't as diverse as it is becoming. Was there any pushback ever when you were on the tour as young college players because of the makeup of your team?
Yeah, I mean, in 1995, we probably had one of the most diverse teams in the history of college golf. We had myself, a Native American, Tiger Woods, who's black, he's Asian, he's a number of things. Casey Martin, who was physically challenged. We had Willie Onagasawa, Japanese American. And so there were a couple events where there were picketing outside for certain things. And it was strange to us because we were collegiate golfers. We weren't political. We weren't trying to push forward an agenda. We were just trying to go out and shoot the best score that we possibly could. But it just kind of tells you when those sorts of things happen, you sort of just got to try and stay focused on the positive things. And that's what we tried to do.
You're the most recent recipient of the Payne Stewart Award, and it deals with golf tradition and a number of things, but also community involvement and impact on the community. What did it feel like when you were awarded that?
Well, let me tell you, the thing that really brought it to light for me is I opened my mail last week when I was drinking coffee with my wife, and it was a personal note from Jack Nicklaus congratulating me on winning the Payne Stewart Award. And so that kind of put it all into focus for me as to sort of the prestige surrounding the award. And he had many nice things to say, and I've always had the deepest admiration for Jack. And he was the first winner of the award, I believe, 29 years ago. It was 3 people: Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and Byron Nelson. So to have that ability to get that distinction is great. But now it's time to continue the work and to push forward sort of the initiatives that I think are going to make the biggest impact in the communities that we work in.
All right, last questions and a couple of easy ones. Oh, I think they're easy. Favorite golf movie?
I got to go with The Hawk on Netflix, only because I'm in it.
Well, there you go. If when you're working with Will Ferrell, that's
promo. You got to sell promo. Come on, I'm on Hollywood now.
Fair enough. And last one, golfers don't have walk-up songs, but if they did, what would yours be?
This is going to surprise a lot of people. Britney Spears, Till the World Ends.
Okay. No, that
surprised you.
It did. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here, and enjoy your time here at Dakota Dunes.
Thank you so much.
She's choosing to con us. You're choosing to believe her.
Good American Family is coming back to Hulu for a second season. The new season of the anthology will focus on the jaw-dropping case of Lorena and John Bobbitt. Grey's Anatomy star Ellen Pompeo, who starred in the series' first season, will executive produce. Disney is the parent company of Hulu and ABC News.
We back.
Scary Movie will soon be available to stream. The 6th movie in the Scary Movie franchise reunites original stars Marlon and Shawn Wayans and Anna Faris. It will premiere on Paramount Plus on September 3rd.
I was built to protect and obey humans, and humans
are idiots.
Murderbot has announced additional cast for the second season of the Alexander Skarsgård-led series. New cast members include Steve Buscemi, Severance star Tremel Tillman, Nicholas Braun, and Wanda Sykes. And happy birthday to Demi Lovato, who is 34 today. That's what's happening in Hollywood. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
So two siblings are trying to bring back Dance Dance Revolution. You remember that?
I don't think it ever went away.
They're picking up millions of views on social media for their love of DDR, but only one of them actually knew about it. Here's Danny New.
As Jim Carrey shows us in Yes Man, arcade games like Dance Dance Revolution can be a great way to get the party going. Or, in the case of the East family, they can provide the ultimate showdown for a sibling rivalry.
Why did you want to beat your brother so badly?
I can answer this.
During his 40th birthday party last week, Adam here was surprised with a declaration of war after his sister, Sarah, trained for 30 weeks to beat him in his favorite classic arcade game known as DDR.
So, Adam, you really had no idea?
I had no idea. Even my wife found out weeks before, and she was sworn to secrecy.
This may be pretty surprising since over the past 8 months, millions on social media tuned in to watch Sarah's weekly training sessions to thwart her brother.
I'm Adam.
Her brother, who in his younger years competed in DDR tournaments around their province in Canada.
I remember traveling around to the movie theaters watching him compete, and I thought, like, he was the coolest thing ever.
What began as a fun little family prank is now being viewed millions of times. You're going to get wrecked.
But when Sarah stunned Adam with custom sibling DDR Showdown t-shirts this month, he may have been surprised. But that doesn't mean he wasn't ready. Adam picked 3 songs, Sarah picked 3 songs, and 3 more songs were voted on by her followers, and Adam still went undefeated. Even when he was wearing 5-pound ankle weights.
I was just so mesmerized. I was just watching him.
Sarah says this experience was still worth it. And even though some folks online were confused by a present centered on a duel.
Did that feel like a gift?
Oh, absolutely. It made my day.
So Adam turned 40, but Sarah is 29, meaning there is a good chance they set a rematch for her 30th birthday party next year. Good thing they don't have to face me, though. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
That's hard enough, and then he's adding ankle weights.
Do you think you or I would win at a DDR showdown?
You. But I would compete.
I got quick feet.
I would compete. I do too. You see me run the 40-yard dash at the CFL Combine? Well, I can move.
We have actually raced out in the parking lot before. This is a true story.
I'm quick.
One day after the show, I just said, who's the faster runner? And Daryl did win in
by
running.
A lot.
By quite a bit. Janelle and I were way at the back of the parking lot.
Way behind. Let's get to our last sidebar for this beautiful Thursday. Whose boss do you think is more miffed by the things that they do at work? Danny News or ours? His expense report is really weird.
Yeah, our stuff is always free. Our stuff
free.
is just at the end of the show going, who wants to race in the parking lot?
Yeah.
That doesn't cost anyone money.
Well,
pride.
Just imagine starting every day like this.
It's raining corn. Hallelujah. Here you go. Come on.
Imagine you're just getting corn dropped on you. The owner of a guinea pig sanctuary in Salisbury, Massachusetts. On any given day, 350 to 400 guinea pigs are in this woman's care. Sanctuary cares for guinea pigs who have been surrendered. So they also offer boarding for owners who go on vacation, all that kind of stuff. So you're just dousing them all in corn.
And they're also getting serenaded at the same time.
Yeah,
so
some nice love.
That's good news. That's great. Here's something deliciously funny.
And I'm a creep. I'm a widow.
It's the dough that makes
Everyone's
it.
so
the
creative.
spelling.
This is a Waffle House in Dublin parodying Radiohead's hit song I'm a Creep with its battered breakfast item. The thin pancake has become quite a popular video, and online it's racked up more than 6 million views, if you can believe it.
Which means people just will watch anything.
Yeah, you could profit off of this. You just post something like this and watch the views roll in.
I suppose you could. I suppose you could. We all know kids say the darndest things like this.
Yesterday, I opened the frog's mouth and pulled a bug out.
Bug out?
Yeah.
Of what?
Of a frog's mouth.
The frog already ate the bug and it was in his mouth?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we've discerned that it is a real frog that 3-year-old Halston ripped the bug out of, so it wasn't going to choke.
Where did she find the frog?
These are questions for another day. See you tomorrow.